Thank you, Captain Paul. KTRS weather today, sunny, high of 92. Tonight, clear with an overnight low of 62. And tomorrow, sunny and a high of 93. Right now, we have 90 degrees at 3:09. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
What have we learned about Heidi?
But cockroaches were the least of her problems. Heidi had to fight for every opportunity.
You know, Heidi is, even though she's very kind of sweet and innocent,
Heidi wanted out of the slum, and her agent wasn't doing enough.
Oh my God, they moved Heidi right next to me now.
Although Heidi seems serene,
she's a bit naughty.
she uses an ancient folk remedy to help calm her down.
Heidi is back.
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Heidi Glaus here with Bob Ramsey and Josh Gilbert. That's right. We're all back together again after, either being out of the studio or taking a day here or there. But we have got a fun show planned. We started a new segment we do every other Wednesday with a professor of linguistics. And so she is back at 3:30, and we're going to talk about Talk Like a Pirate Day. That's coming up this Friday. But is all of that "arr" and "ahoy matey"? Did pirates really say that? And how did we get to this point?
Well, of course they did, right? Why would we say that?
I saw it in a movie.
We're going to talk to the expert.
Yeah.
But it is a fun day, isn't it? Coming up a little later in the 3 o'clock, we'll check in with Alex Stone. It looks like students are returning now to the University of Utah, where that awful shooting took place. And so we'll find out how students are dealing. And I can't even imagine going through something like that and being a witness to it. So we'll get that perspective. In the 4 o'clock, Lauren Risley will join us. And, we're kind of moving into fall, even though it doesn't seem like it today with the heat. I think, what are we at, the 90 degree mark? Yeah. It's a little warm out there. But as we do move towards fall, we're going to go through a list of reminders. What's covered with your home insurance policy? What's not? I mean, should there be a couple of things that you could tack on and say, you know what, I'll make sure that this is covered? Or do you take out a different kind of policy on things? So we'll talk about that with Lauren. We'll also check in with the ABC News policy reporter in Washington. She'll tell us about what's happening on the Senate floor with the former CDC director. And then in the 5 o'clock, I'm really looking forward to this. There's a unique opportunity starting tomorrow for you in Alton to step aboard one of the only operational World War II landing ship tanks. The picture of this thing is amazing, but it is basically a floating museum.
I've been a bit of a World War II aficionado, far from an expert.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever seen a picture of one of these crafts. It's fascinating.
So cool. I can't wait to find out what kind of artifacts you'll be able to see. And I did read that you get to listen to some oral history. So all of it. And what kind of role did it play in not only World War II, but Vietnam and Korea? So we're going to talk about that coming up at 5:10. And then, of course, as we always do, Hollywood and some randoms.
Fascinated on these big ships. Where did people sleep?
Exactly. Eat. Is there a dining
Where did
hall?
they eat? What did they do?
Yeah.
Did they just hang out? Did they really swab the deck, Bob?
They got to be swabbed.
Yeah.
You've got to swab. You've got to.
If you're not
boy.
swabbing.
So that's what we have coming up. I got to tell you, we just drove in once again from Indianapolis. So we were there on
You were
the
there on
weekend.
Saturday.
Yeah, for the Purdue game.
I was there on Sunday.
Yeah. And then I went back. Monday, we got to Effingham. It's a cute little place in Effingham. And there we can stay in this fantastic parking lot at a winery, Tuscan Hill Winery. So if you're ever traveling through or going to Effingham, it's a beautiful little place. But there's this thing called Harvest Host where you sign up on a yearly membership, and there are more than 1,500 places that as long as you grab a bite to eat, get a beer or a glass of wine, they let you park in the parking lot.
Is that right?
Such a cool thing. So that's what we did. And then we pulled into Indianapolis yesterday morning and went to the Fever Dream game last night, which was so electrifying. The Fever ended up tying up the series, so it's 1-1. They'll play again tomorrow night. But Winona Judd sang the national anthem.
Who's that? I'm not familiar.
Right. And you guys, I continue to live this dream because at halftime, we went back to her green room, hung out for a little bit after the game, went back to her green room and hung out again. Of course, this
Heidi,
is not.
my best bud. Great to see you. Where are we going to go next weekend?
It's kind of crazy.
Well, tell us about it. Tell the interactions.
It's just I'm still like at a loss of words about the whole thing.
It's great.
So as you guys know, this isn't my doing. It's a college teammate, Amber, who is the GM COO for the Indiana Fever, and apparently Winona is a huge Fever fan. So Winona's team had reached out to Indiana Fever, and Amber has kind of, taken all of this and coordinated it. And Winona had said, "Can I please sing the national anthem at a Fever game?" And so it ended up working out that it would be game 2 of this series. And so that was absolutely fantastic. But what was even cooler, today is Marsha's birthday. She is a crazy Fever fan, and so Amber also let us go to the shoot around, their warm ups. We were on the
This morning?
court yesterday before the game.
Oh, okay.
So we are basically on the court, sitting by one of the players' moms, and then one player is stretching, and basically Marsha had to move her legs to let Lexi stretch, and Marsha's face was just in awe. It was the
That's
biggest
fantastic.
smile ever. Of course, Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham aren't on the court, but they're courtside, so that was absolutely fantastic. It's just living the dream right
That's
now.
really neat.
So cool. And we rolled back in today.
So you walk in, Winona's there.
Yeah.
Did you get, what are you doing here again?
I felt
Are
like
you
that was going to
stalking
be
me?
it.
Yes.
But we were, walking that way, and they immediately just hugged, said, "Great to see you guys again. See you at halftime." And as we were
fantastic.
walking back, I'm not exactly proud of this, but sometimes
I can't
Marsha
wait.
doesn't there's nothing wrong with it. I'm too controlling. I will just put that out there. But I see her kind of stop during the shoot around, and she's going to say something to Aaliyah Boston, which is, probably the second, third best player
Terrific.
on the team. And I'm like, "Oh, talk to her." And I kind of went, "Get going." And so as we're walking that way,
Snap.
Oh.
Cactus, Winona's husband, said, "Did you just snap at Marsha?"
Yeah.
I said, I did. Sometimes she deserves a snap. And he's like, "Well, it was a pretty good snap." So anyway,
I snapped at Jen once.
Yeah.
yeah,
Once.
never again.
I
That's-
paid.
yeah.
I paid dearly.
Yeah.
Bob doesn't have thumbs anymore.
So that was kind of crazy. But it also made me realize on our previous RV trip where we took my sister and brother-in-law and
The whole gang.
niece, yeah, the whole gang. We talked about all those things that you tend to talk about only at a certain age. So here's my question for you guys and you guys on the KTRS text line, 84126. At what point do you start referencing the corn looks good or corn looks bad? At what age are you? Because I did it, and I've done it more than once now.
I did it coming back a couple of weeks ago from Fayetteville.
Yeah.
Oh, They must have. Did they already harvest? What's going?
Yeah,
You know,
the corn's not looking good.
Like I've got.
Yeah.
I'm on the futures market for corn. What?
Why? And so like look over, and
really
then
good.
you kind of look at the left side, and you're like, well, it's a little more green over there.
Their irrigation is not working, Marsha.
I mean, it's that, and then it's also the gas prices, which
we always do that. Both of us do.
Especially, I will tell you this: the motorhome is diesel. Here in St. Louis, it was $3.39 when we pulled out, and thank God I got it at that point. When we got to Indiana, it was $1 more. So it's one of those things too that you start looking at.
Southwest Missouri, Northwest Arkansas, it's 20 to 30 cents cheaper, regular gas.
Isn't that?
Or it was last month anyway.
Yeah. Then we kind of started talking about high blood pressure, and then today I noticed something I've never seen before. So I'm obviously at a certain age.
I can't wait.
I, for the first time, got one of those little blood bruises. Do you know, like
You
when
mean
you're
the ones that are on my arms constantly? Constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my dad's got them too.
Exactly.
Look at this one here. You know what happened? We were hanging a picture, and my arm just brushed against the corner of the frame.
What happened here? I have no idea.
I used to have skin. Now I have tissue paper.
That's exactly. When does that? It happened overnight.
And we got to ask Dr. Johar. And is there any way to combat it?
Right.
Can we bathe in collagen?
Something, please. So all of these things,
Don't
I've
you
just
smirk over there, buddy.
He's
10
looking at his
years,
arms.
10 years.
Yeah, looking at
gonna
his arms,
happen.
and he doesn't have a single spot.
Guys, I'm as old as they come, but I'm not signing off on any of this. I'm not looking at the corn.
I know.
I'm not looking at the gas prices when I'm on vacation.
I think it's 50.
Do you really not?
No.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think it's about 50 years old.
Youth is wasted on the young.
Yes, it is.
I'm still hip and with it, I guess.
Well,
Two old fuddy-duddies over here.
I mean, is Josh right, wrong? I mean, is it about 50 when you start realizing all of these things?
You guys are. I'm going to have to get Dr. Rick in here.
oh, there's no question.
Progressive from the Progressive commercials. Why won't you let your wife talk to the players? You were embarrassed. You were embarrassed. You thought she was going to embarrass you.
I didn't think she was going to embarrass, but I'm like, is that the right time? They're warming up. I didn't want her to get in the way. But no, she can go do whatever she wants.
Well, now I want to know what she was going to say to her. You know, oh, where'd you get those shoes? I really like those shoes.
Jimmy Choos.
You know what she actually said, which is kind of funny. Marcia is a huge Fever fan. She's also a huge Minnesota Lynx fan. She has purchased now 3 or 4 jerseys. So
I see her as a jersey person.
Yep,
I see
a
that.
jersey wearer. I
Yeah.
am not.
Me neither.
So she has a Caitlin Clark. Not long after she got it, Caitlin Clark went out.
Oh, no.
She has a Sophie Cunningham.
Well, we know what happened to her.
Exactly.
Marsha's the mush.
She has a Nafisa Collier. Wore it to the game when we were in Vegas. Nafisa Collier went out.
Oh,
She's the cooler.
She's back now. She's back. So Nafisa didn't.
okay.
So she had on Caitlin Clark's gear. She now has a Nike. It's like 2 C's that are kind of intertwined.
Like the Jordan brand.
Yes. So Marcia had that shirt on last night, and as she walked by Aaliyah Boston, you can obviously tell she's wearing a Caitlin Clark shirt, and she goes, I really want to have your jersey, but I'm afraid that you would get hurt because everybody I have is hurt. And Aaliyah Boston said, keep mine hanging in the team store. Don't go get it.
See, that's cute. That's a cute exchange.
It was cute.
I think that's great.
I just get a little nervous. So, yeah. Somebody said my bruises got really bad during menopause. Well, that tracks.
There you go.
Our friend Susan says, OMG, every time we drive to Perryville, my husband mentions the corn and the soybeans.
What are we mentioning?
I'm not.
Just how it looks.
The health?
Yes. Is it green? Like I will say,
Corn's looking good this year.
the corn wasn't an Indy. It looked
No,
really dead.
it's dry everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can
See,
take it.
we're just
yeah.
now falling into it. Yeah.
You can also take it one step further. I mean, if you're with like somebody that really knows what they're talking about, like if you're with my dad, he can kind of compare and go, oh, obviously a little better farmer on this side.
Oh, boy.
This guy knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to. Blood bruises
Yep.
and corn talk.
And probably taking some sort of blood pressure medicine at some point.
That could be the name of a podcast.
Corn talk. Well, it is. Talk to Carl Middleman. I think he airs it every Thursday or Friday morning right here on the Big 550
That's great.
KTRS. I've got a whole list of things that I didn't get to yesterday, Heidi, while you were out, of things that we did when we realized we were old. So it would be great to share it with you right now, but it's currently on my desk.
Okay.
So I'll go grab it.
Will
and
you get it?
I'll
'Cause
get a couple
We'll
of them.
continue this conversation.
I'm going to go get it right now.
My sister-in-law, whose birthday was yesterday, said, but you don't get the rain gauge until you're 60, which I can attest to.
Okay. But you know what? You've got a range gauge.
Marsha's 60.
Oh.
Not me. It's not my rain gauge. I don't even look at it. I look away. I don't want to go that far. I'll say, how much rain did we get? You look at the rain gauge. Somebody else said, I'm a female 67-year-old. Didn't start getting thin skin and bruises until about 3 years ago, and now I'm a mess.
It's awful.
Yeah.
You know what gets me all the time? My arms hang down. My forearms are right at the level of doorknobs. And you bump into a doorknob, there's a bruise.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Yep. Somebody says, what about saving cardboard boxes because it's a good box? Oh, my gosh,
Yeah.
there is somebody else at our house that does that.
There's somebody at our house that does that.
I cannot throw away a shoebox. You always need that.
Yeah,
You're
but
always
some of
gonna
them are a
need
little
it.
more flimsy than others.
I probably got four empty ones in my closet.
Really?
So I use,
Yeah.
I'm going to use that for something. And I never did.
I kind of will go downstairs and poach some of them that have been saved and toss them out.
And just throw them out. That's what I do with Finn's toys.
when he's not
when he's
looking.
not
Not looking, I just go throw some away.
I'm going to
Yeah.
tell him.
I've got 39 things here. I'm not going to share them all, but 39 things that made people realize that they weren't young anymore.
Okay.
Heidi, you've already shared several of them. It takes forever to scroll to your birth year when you sign up for an app.
So true. Just
You
keep
know what? I got to tell you,
going.
that really ticks me off. One of these days, I'm afraid it doesn't go that far.
I know, right? It stopped. I will say, though, the
I
other
guess I
day
can't use this website.
at the grocery store, I may or may not have had a couple bottles of wine, and the woman said, can I see your ID? And I said, really? Yes, here you go. She goes, oh, my God.
Come on over and have a drink with
Yeah,
us.
I'm like,
I think they
can I hug you?
They have to put the number in or they can't go further.
No, it's a compliment.
It's-
Come on,
yeah,
Josh.
Josh.
Anyone
Don't
work
ruin
at a
my
grocery
moment.
Store? Speaking of the grocery store, this person said the grocery store is playing all my favorite songs.
That's funny.
That's how you know you're
That's a
old.
good one. That's a good one.
This is sad. I was at Old Navy the other day and looked up and saw an old woman looking at me. Then I realized it was a mirror.
Oh.
Yikes. And then just one more. Not wanting to drive at night.
Oh.
When did this happen?
Marsha.
She won't drive at night.
Now, my mom and dad still do, so I don't know, but I have a handful of friends right now. I would say that's the 60
Yeah, I think
as
you're
far
right
as
about
that goes.
That
And
doesn't affect me, but I know people that
yeah.
are like that.
And I think it's the light and even the lanes just don't look like they
Same?
used to.
Is
know,
it an eye thing?
You know, the thing I've discovered, you're old when you quit listening to new music.
yeah.
That's why you're staying young.
That's right.
All right, I'll give you-
Forever young.
Forever young. I'll give you two more.
Okay.
I was checking out at the doctor's office, and the old guy in front of me gave his year, his date of birth,
He was younger.
and he was a year younger than me. Oh, no. And then this happens to me all the time. If you're a sports fan, when you start seeing guys playing and you remember watching their fathers play,
Oh.
a lot of this in college football, American baseball. I think it's so wild to look on the field and say, oh, my gosh, I am older than Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Tom Brady was the last person that was older than me
In the league.
in the
Yeah.
league. And now I'm older than everybody else.
And is he talking about coming out of retirement and dabbling with flag football for the possible Olympics?
I think he's going over to
I think it's a stunt.
you do.
Dubai.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
the Saudis
I
are
think
paying
with
him.
Gronk, and they're gonna. It's kind of. I think it's an exhibition kind of
Okay.
thing.
Well, we'll see. Somebody says you guys are funny today. You're killing it. Thank you so much. Somebody else said, "How you do know that the corn is ready for harvest when it's brown, right?" Yes, I grew up with corn, but this looks dead. Like it is.
Well, it's really dry.
Yeah, it's awful.
And I got home from my short trip, and my plants are all dead.
It's tough. Superfan Aaron, I was in Charlotte, North Carolina airport, and over the loudspeaker, a voice said, "If you know the words to the Gilligan Island theme song, it's time for a colonoscopy."
Yes.
That's very good.
Oh, yeah. Super fun. All right, you guys know what is coming up, and hopefully you'll hang out with us, be a part of the show here on the Heidi Glaus Show with Bob and Josh on the Big 550 KTRS St.
Galmish
Louis.
& Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
Let's talk about high school for just a moment, because that young man you brought home from the hospital yesterday, you're going to blink your eyes, and all of a sudden now you start talking about high schools. Well, that's where St. Mary's Southside Catholic High School comes in, because it's an all-boys, independent Catholic high school. And what St. Mary's will do is they will prepare your son to be the future. Whether it's college, trade work, or a career of their choice, St. Mary's, over the years, has produced a whole lot of millionaires and a couple of billionaires along the way. And when you graduate from St. Mary's, you have that alumni as a resource. Schedule your visit today and find out more about St. Mary's. stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com. They will teach the skills that are needed to thrive and survive in the 21st century, as well as teaching old school values. To find out more, stmaryshs.com. That's stmaryshs.com.
The big, beautiful tax bill just passed. Do you know how these changes will affect your financial plan? What changes has your financial advisor made to take advantage of these opportunities before they expire? Join me, Kevin Lloyd, for my next tax workshop, 314-641-1010. Learn how these changes can benefit you and your family. 314-641-1010.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPLA, registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
Our students are getting unique opportunities that you just would not get elsewhere.
It does give us a lot of options to do things, room to move around and be free and
hone in on the you and how that makes your creativity.
I came in here not knowing a single thing about how dance can turn into singing and acting and how that can branch out into other things.
Confluence Academies and the Grand Center Arts Academy. Discover your pathway at confluenceacademy.org.
Your dentures no longer fit? Maybe you're missing a tooth or several teeth. Visit Dr. Bowen for Simply Secure Dentures and Dental Implants, the cutting-edge, high-quality dental implants that replace all the teeth in your mouth, and it starts as low as $7,000, not the $35,000 that others charge. If you're only missing a few teeth, Dr. Bowen can permanently replace those with something you don't have to take in and out of your mouth. Learn more at simplysecuredentures.com and get the care you need and the teeth you want at Bowen Dental Care or simplysecuredentures.com.
This Saturday in the heart of Webster Groves, the passion of jazz and blues mixes with delicious food and drinks for one heck of a good time. The award-winning Webster Jazz and Blues Festival is back this Saturday. All the details are waiting for you at oldwebsterjazzfest.com. Welcomed by the Big 550 KTRS.
Evolution Festival, Forest Park, September 27th and 28th with Lenny Kravitz and Sublime, plus Sam Fender, Public Enemy, The Hives, TLC, Marcus King Band, and more. Benefiting United Way of Greater St. Louis Storm Relief Fund. Tickets at evolutionfestival.com.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
It is 3:32. We need to get a check of traffic with Captain Paul Kopsky.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. More heat on the way Thursday. We start off mild, though, low of 65, then a hot high of 93. Not overly humid, though, mostly sunny skies. And then on Friday, 87, still a warm day, partly to mostly cloudy, and a 30% chance for a shower or thunderstorm on our Friday. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage, we plunder, we rifle and loot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot. Drink up, me hearties, yo ho. Yo ho, a pirate's life.
Friday is Talk Like a Pirate Day, but how did pirates really sound? Is that R made up? Valerie Fridland is a professor of linguistics and author of Like Literally Dude, Arguing for the Good in Bad English, and she is back to discuss just that. Welcome back.
Well, ahoy there, mateys.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so what do we know about pirates and their phrasing?
You know, it's interesting because what we think we know is sort of common among all of us. You know, we have this image of pirate talk, and it tends to be very similar, but it's not necessarily that accurate because it really all relates to one specific performance that was done in about 1950 by the Robert Newton, who was Long John Silver in the screen adaptation by Disney of Treasure Island.
Really?
And he is a West Country accent speaker from sort of southwestern Britain. And he really played up some features of his West Country roots, particularly kind of rural farmer West Country dialect, in playing Long John Silver. And that really stuck with us, and all those and toy 'em up. All those things are really related to that accent and not necessarily that accurate to the true pirate talk.
So we're not being correct when we say avast ye mateys.
Well, we're not being correct because they're actually nautical terms that did exist, and they were really 18th century nautical terms, so maybe a little later than the golden age of piracy, which was the 17th century. But many of the things, the terms that we talk about, like ahoy and me hearties and yo heave ho and shiver me timbers, those were I'm getting pretty excited about my pirate talk here. Those were already in use as nautical terms, but then any sailor would have used them, not just pirate.
And it seems very gruff, and pardon to all the Scottish listeners today, but I always took it to be a little Scottish-y in their accents.
I'm offended.
Probably more Irish-y, actually. There were quite a few Irish that made their living in piracy, although they were probably swamped by the number of Englishmen that became pirates. I mean, we have to remember that the line between being a pirate and being a sailor in the Royal Navy was very, very slim. And in fact, often it was kind of an off-season gig, you know, when you weren't out there fighting for your government. In fact, people that we tend to think of as sort of great nautical leaders that worked for the British Crown, like Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh, were actually kind of pirates in their off time. And this is because they had often gotten permission from the Crown to be privateers when there were wars brewing, so that they could board and take from enemy ships. And then, of course, if you start doing that with the blessing of your government some of the time, it's very easy to slip into doing it often.
All of the time.
So, Valerie, when we talk about these different eras, and you had mentioned the Golden Age, but you've got the Anglo-French. You mentioned Scottish and Irish. You know, the Spanish Main, and you know that for a long time. But then we also forget the West Indies, and so really influences from all over the world. It would be interesting to be in one of those so-called pirate towns. I imagine you'd hear a lot of different languages and mixes.
Absolutely. So, you know, when we think of pirates, we often have that Robert Newton image of sort of that gruff British accent. But the reality is that pirates were very multicultural. And almost all the people that were working the seas, whether they were pirates or sailors or merchant sailors, not just Navy sailors, at that time in the late 1600s, early 1700s, would have been exposed to a maritime English pidgin, which was a accent that grew out of a lot of the different multicultural languages that came into contact on ships and on trading coasts. And this often had a lot of West African influence because of the slave trade, of course, and then English, Portuguese, and French, because those were the predominant sailing nations at that time. The Spanish, of course, slightly earlier. So you had a really interesting blend in the dialects spoken on the high seas at that time. So this image we have is probably a lot simpler than the reality of the multicultural language that was spoken on those ships. And also the West Indies were huge in terms of piracy. That was the main port area. And in fact, many pirates ended up living or retiring there, including Blackbeard, for example, and Stede Bonnet, very famous pirates.
Very interesting. So if we truly wanted to talk like a pirate, what would we sound like?
Well, the funny thing about Robert Newton's version of pirate talk is probably that it's not that far off, because when you were talking about areas that had a lot of piracy or communities that really prospered during piracy, they were called pirates' nests. And a lot of these existed in the West Country areas of Britain. So, for example, in Devon and Bristol and Dorset, those were areas that actually had a lot of people that worked with this in the seas, and many of them turned to piracy. And it actually helped those communities because piracy was one of the things that often was done to circumvent some of the regulations of the crown and the high taxes that they charged. So there was actually a lot of times an antagonistic relationship of people who made their living off of the seas and also just wanted to make a living, and the way that government kind of extorted people for taxes from trade. And so a lot of these became pirates' nests where the work of pirates was actually supported by the communities. And so the West Country area of Britain was one where a lot of the sailors ended up becoming pirates. And so it probably wasn't all that far off in some cases with some of the Robert Newton-esque features. So it was rhotic, for example, the R's that we hear in that rendition of Treasure Island. They definitely had R's there. Most pirate talk probably had R's. They also probably had that conflation of some vowels. So things like tie him up would have been toy him up. Not playing with potatoes, but with ropes. He also in variant B, so, we be sailing today. That is actually an Irish English feature from, 1700s, that because of the amount of Irish immigration to the West Indies, as well as Irish pirates and sailors, that is a feature that became very widespread, not only in Irish and pirate English, but also in the West Indies and African American English. It probably all traces back to that era.
Yeah, and you talked about the pigeon. What about, we be sailing? That sounds like something you would hear maybe in Jamaica.
Absolutely. And in fact, there is a phonetician named John Wells who talked about, with the history of the high sea piracy really being centered on the West Indies, that a lot of the Caribbean dialects of English have features that make them sound a little bit like pirates. So he described Barbados as having, pirate talk there. So if you go to Barbados or Jamaica, that probably preserves some of the features we would have heard in the 1600s and 1700s.
So in your kind of research on this topic, Robert Newton, he is an actor and he played Long John Silver, and you argue that's kind of where we got this accent from, but he wasn't really that far off. Did he accidentally do a correct pirate accent by being lazy, or did he really research this and try to talk like a pirate?
Well, I don't think that he did that much research. I think he was just born in the right place. So he was actually from, I think it's Dorset, which is part of the West Country. And the pirate lifestyle is sort of romanticized there. There's actually a lot about the pirate history of that area. So it probably was just that he took that and ran with it. And of course, the features he did in that depiction are way overblown. Most people wouldn't talk like that even back in the 1600s, 1700s. And they probably also weren't completely accurate to speech 2 centuries prior to that. But I think it's more just that they happened to pick the right person for the part.
Oh, Valerie, you mentioned ahoy, matey, aye, aye, captain. Are they saying yes, captain? Aye, aye, captain is what exactly?
Yes, that would be an agreement marker. Ahoy is actually an attention getter. It was used when you wanted to, warn somebody of something or get someone's attention. You'd yell, ahoy! And that would say, hey, look at me, pay attention. It's essentially the equivalent of saying, hey, you, pay attention. And then, you have avast me hearties, which is kind of an expression that says, hey, heads up, my friends. Hearties is sort of a term of endearment. And then instead of my at the time, in many regional Englishes, you would use me for possession, not my. And so that stuck around. And then in the song you played at the very beginning, it was yo ho, yo he ho. That actually is also a nautical term, which was used as sort of this rhythmic chanting when you were doing work together, like either packing boxes onto a ship or rowing. You'd go, yo, heave, ho, and that would sort of get everybody regulated to row together. And one of my favorites is shiver me timbers, which really translates to, well, blow my ship apart. And it was sort of a sign of surprise, and shiver meant to splinter or tear apart, and timbers is referred to the wood on ships. So shiver me timbers is break down my ship, essentially.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, blow me down. So you just said ahoy means, to get someone's attention. I remember, watching movies of kids in England in the 80s saying oi, as in, O-I. That was a big thing with the Madness people. Is that maybe a shortened version of ahoy?
That would make sense to me. I don't know that much about the specific history of oi, but it would make a lot of sense because it's done for the same reason as sort of an attention getter, and it basically is just a reduced form of ahoy. So I would imagine that that's probably where that came from.
Well, it is fascinating. And Valerie, I don't know about you. I mean, this is what you study. I feel like it's endless when we talk about words and languages and everything that we can know. Do you feel that way?
I do. I have to say, I'm always excited by the fact that I get to do this for a living. I'm incredibly lucky. I get to explore things that I would ask anyway. And every time I find something out, and I learn new things every day, I'm always blown away by the incredible way that language works and how so many things we think just happened. If we look back, they happened by a pattern, by fascinating history, or by this really cool way that different cultures merge together. So I love it. I'm very lucky.
Well, we're very lucky to have you joining us on a regular basis. Valerie Fridland, thank you so much.
Of course. Well, avast, my mateys.
Yeah.
Marauding, embezzling, even hijack. Drink up me hearties, yo ho! Yo ho, yo ho!
Okay, customer service, I think, is something we all know how to describe it. Now, not many companies do it anymore, but I can tell you this, Dalco Home Remodeling does. They do doors, windows, siding, roofing, and they can even redo your entire bathroom. I'm talking a gut remodel if that's what you're looking for. But at the forefront of all of that is the way that they work with each and every customer. Every single project is unique. They want to make sure that they're getting your project just right. So they really tackle it with intention and care. And these are some of the hardest working people you're ever going to meet. What I love is that they also make their doors, custom by the way, and windows right here in Missouri. So that's what I think Dalco Home Remodeling has going for them. Customer service made in Missouri and just all of the fantastic things that they can help do to improve the look of your home or maybe even make it a little more efficient when you're talking about energy-saving vinyl replacement windows. You can learn more online at DalcoHomeRemodeling.com. You can also call Dalco Home Remodeling, schedule an appointment, get a free estimate, 314-648-8113.
Is it time to make a change with your bank? Hi, it's Julie Buck for Triad Bank. They are a full-service financial institution with 2 locations, and they've been around since 2005 with a mission to provide a wide range of commercial and personal banking services. Here's their website. It's triadbanking.com.
Everyone's talking about these weight loss drugs, and it's a good thing we've got Dr. Joe Molesky with us, a St. Louis native and board-certified primary care physician. Dr. Joe, it can get very confusing, but the one thing we need to know is GLP-1, right? That's the magic cure.
The magic cure is these weight loss shots. They're injected once weekly. They're not like the old medications that you've seen 20, 30 years ago. These medications actually work. They're injected once weekly, and patients see within the first 90
even shorter, but I feel like my face is so round, it's never going to work. And do you remember, I don't know if guys did it or not, but you could kind of get your picture taken with all these different hair cuts to see how your face would look in it. Oh. That was a thing for a while. I guess now you can kind of do it with your apps on your phone. But do you think you could go with a fully shaved or bald head?
No.
Could you pull it off?
No, I had the real short buzz cut for a while, and Jen didn't like it. And but I love not having to worry about it.
Yeah.
But no, you got to have that really good round head, I think,
to make sure you don't have any knots or divots.
I'm too bumpy and lumpy.
Yeah.
I shaved my head one time.
Really?
In like the 6th grade. Everybody
Well,
was
that's because
doing
of the
it.
lice.
Yeah, right. Everybody was doing it, and I didn't like it. You know,
No.
I want to have hair, which is why I take a pill for it every day.
And we've talked about this before. You get perms every
get
so
perms.
often to
I
give
do.
you a little more. Have you ever gotten highlights?
No, I don't need to.
Okay. I was looking at your hair thinking maybe that was, but that's your natural.
Naturally happens.
Okay.
And I've grown it out quite a few times. So I like hair.
Is there one style that you would go with to bring back? Like I'm thinking of Shauna and the like the greased back hair with the comb.
Oh goodness.
Well, in light of the passing of Robert Redford, he always had perfect.
He did
hair.
have perfect hair.
In fact, there's a country song, the line something like Clint Eastwood smile and Robert Redford hair.
Oh,
that's
I'll
a good
take it.
one.
Yeah.
I think it is interesting how popular the mullet has become once again. I see
Really
it
has.
everywhere.
Kids love that haircut
They
for some
do.
reason. Is
I
this
don't
a
get it.
regional thing?
No, I think it's
Are they wearing
everywhere
it like
now.
that in California?
Well, look at Jelly Roll. I mean, you look at some of the singers like Morgan.
Morgan Wallen?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people on TV now have it.
Now, how come that Rod Stewart hair never caught on with anybody else but him? Him and Tina Turner.
Well, that's true.
Well,
Very
you gotta
similar.
be that good. You got to be. The best hair advice ever was a guy that was in my wedding gave it to my wife. Well, do I have my hair way up? Because women always, sometimes, not always, often do crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And he looked at her and said, "Go with the hair that got you there."
Oh, that is great advice.
You ever go to a wedding and the bride looks nothing like
Right.
she
Yeah.
does
That's his point.
Quite
in regular life?
often. You've got full on makeup. Maybe you've got the fake eyelashes and, the eyebrows are a little thicker. All of it.
I thought we were at Jolene's wedding.
Mhm.
We are.
Yeah. But I do know a couple of women who regret the way they, much like you just
Really?
said,
Yeah.
they're like looking back at the wedding pictures, that doesn't look
not
like
me.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you try to go all out for your big day, but it doesn't always pay off.
I think, and it's hard to talk about women's looks and all that stuff, but
No,
I
it's
think
not. I'm happy to do it.
you go with the best version of you for that day,
Exactly.
not the best version of someone else.
Right. I think it's interesting too. And our friend Susan just said, I know men that are obsessed with their hair trying to cover that bald spot is
One thing I said I'd never do, and I haven't, no comb over.
the comb over.
Even my barber at Hair Salon for Men, she's terrific. She said, "You want to do that?" I go, "No,
Yeah.
no,
Leave it
That's
be.
what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is."
Mm-hmm.
If you just grow this side 8 inches
Oh,
longer.
there you go all the way over.
So true. All right, coming up in the next hour, Lauren Risley will join us and we'll go through some reminders about your homeowner's insurance, what it covers, what it doesn't. So kind of keep you in the know. We'll also check in with the ABC reporter who covers policy in Washington. We'll find out what happened as the Senate talked to the former CDC director. That's all coming up here on the Big 550 KTRS.
Royal Banks of Missouri is proud to sponsor the Battle of Columbia as the South Carolina Gamecocks travel to Columbia this Saturday to take on the Mizzou Tigers.
2 tacklers to the house in Missouri.
Don't miss all the action live here on the Big 550.
Pre-game starts at 4 p.m. with kickoff at 6 p.m. And KTRS has full coverage all week on the Big Sports Show with KTRS Sports Director Brendan Lisi and the Press Box with Frank Cusimano.
Missouri delivers again.
This is why the Big 550 is live, local, and the home for everything Mizzou. Proudly powered by Royal Banks of Missouri. Let's go, Mizzou.
All right, so you're looking for a new front door, maybe to change the style up a little bit. Maybe you've got some windows that are leaking and aren't very energy efficient, and you'd like to get some new ones. And so you start looking for a window company. Let me tell you about my friend and my good neighbor, Larry Thornton. He's been selling windows and doors in St. Louis for 37 years. He has access to all the quality windows and all the quality doors. And unlike so many other window companies, it's not a marketing game. Buy one, get the next 7 free. At the window store, you buy one window, you get one window. But when you compare apples to apples, right, you'll notice that the window store has much better pricing. There is no hard sell. They're not going to stand in the middle of your living room demanding you sign on the dotted line. For 37 years, they've beat everybody on quality, on price, on customer service. If you need windows or doors, that's why you need to call my neighbor, Larry, or his son, Joe, 314-739-0002, or wswindow.net.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. 1 week after the fatal shooting of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, authorities in Utah are revealing more details about the surrender of suspect Tyler Robinson.
Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby now describing how Tyler Robinson's surrender went down. They made a deal with him for it to be calm, with deputies in plain clothes taking him into custody delicately.
He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement.
Brooksby says rumors that Robinson's father was a retired deputy are not correct, and that another man by the same name has been getting threats, but that Robinson's father was not a former deputy. Alex Stone, ABC News.
The former head of the CDC, Susan Menarez, testified about her firing by Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Menarez, who was appointed by President Trump, says she was ousted just weeks on the job for refusing to rubber stamp vaccine recommendations.
I was fired for holding the line on scientific integrity, but that line does not disappear with me. It now runs through every parent deciding whether to vaccinate a child, every physician counseling a patient, and every American who demands accountability.
HHS officials say Menarez's testimony contained factual inaccuracies and left out important details. President Trump and the First Lady are at Windsor Castle for a state dinner. The president is the first elected political leader in modern times to be hosted for 2 state visits by the British monarch. King Charles noted the historic visit.
This unique and important occasion reflects the enduring bond between our 2 great nations.
The so-called soft diplomacy ushers in trade talks tomorrow between President Trump and the UK's Prime Minister. The Federal Reserve Board voted to cut interest rates by 1/4 point. It's the first rate cut this year. The Fed chair noted a balance shift in economic risks with persistent inflation and a slowdown in the job market. You're listening to ABC News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay. The St. Clair County State's Attorney's Office has pressed charges in a fatal hit and run that claimed the life of a Belleville woman. The accident happened on August 21st when a pedestrian was struck in the 900 block of South Greenmount Road at around 3:30 in the morning. 33-year-old Emily Johnson of Muscuda was rushed to the hospital where she was pronounced deceased. The driver that hit her fled the scene. Yesterday, 74-year-old Robert J. Weddick of Muscuda appeared at the St. Clair County Courthouse with his attorney, where he was charged with one count of failure to report an accident involving a death. The St. Louis County Police Department is mourning the death of two of their officers. KTRS's Jill Enders has the story.
Yesterday, Sergeant James Sanders passed away after a long battle with cancer. The department said Sanders remained a dedicated employee despite his illness and served the city of St. Louis for 31 years. Another officer also passed away yesterday. Police say Officer Malik Baker was on his way to work yesterday afternoon when he was killed in a car accident along I-55 in East St. Louis. Baker had served with the department for nearly 4 years. The department released a statement which reads, quote, "Both of our officers will be sorely missed by all who knew them. We ask for your and the community's prayers for their family, friends, and colleagues during this difficult time." End quote. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
The Missouri Department of Conservation is offering a cooking and nature class at Rockwood Reservation in Wildwood. The free classes will run on Thursdays from 11:30 a.m. to 1 in the afternoon and will teach the basics of cooking outdoors and is open to all ages. Those planning to attend are asked to pre-register at the Missouri Department of Conservation website. Applications are now being accepted from nonprofit and community-based organizations in the greater St. Louis bi-state region for grants supporting outdoor recreation projects. Details from KTRS's Steve Potter.
River City Outdoors is a private nonprofit foundation that works to make outdoor recreation more accessible and inclusive. Last year, Friends of Carondelet Park received $2,500 to fund signage and a trailhead kiosk for St. Louis's first mountain bike trail, and $1,500 went to the Chain of Rocks Community Association to improve river access for fishermen, paddlers, and greenway users by removing invasive plants and planting native vegetation. Applications for the second year of River City Outdoors grants will be accepted through October 24th and must be used for projects in St. Louis City and County, plus the Missouri counties of Franklin, Jefferson, Lincoln, St. Charles, and Warren, and the Illinois counties of Madison, St. Clair, Bond, Calhoun, Jersey, Macoupin, and Monroe. Spokesperson Matt Green says the goal is to help communities help themselves and make outdoor recreation accessible for all. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
Schnucks is in this KTRS Business Minute, brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Schnucks is expanding its presence in Wisconsin. The St. Louis-based grocer announced it's buying Scogan's Festival Foods and Hometown Grocers, Inc. The deal will increase Schnucks' portfolio to 164 grocery stores across Missouri, Illinois, Indiana, and Wisconsin. And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 a.m. Wall Street at the close today, Dow Jones up 260 points to 46,018. S&P 500 is down 6 to 6,600. And the NASDAQ is down 72 points to 22,261. Now let's check sports and traffic with Captain Paul Kopsky. Thank you, Captain Paul. KTRS weather tonight clear with an overnight low of 62. Tomorrow sunny and a high of 93. Right now we have 91 degrees. The time is 4:08. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
The Backstoppers Week is September 11th through the 18th. This virtual week of giving recognizes Backstoppers' 66th anniversary and is in support of the Education Fund. The Backstoppers Education Fund covers tuition at all levels, technology, textbooks, housing on and off campus, and related costs, uniforms, school supplies, tutoring, extracurricular activities, sports, clubs, and more. Give back to families of fallen or catastrophically injured heroes as they head back to school at backstoppers.org/giving week.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer. This note came in on our text line recently on the Frank and Jill show. You need to know that Ryan Raphael helped me with my senior insurance plan. He was such a gentleman, so helpful, knowledgeable, and kind. I can't thank him enough, and I heard about him on KTRS. I love that text because Ryan Raphael is the Medicare man. He's absolutely the best person to call to help you through the often confusing process of finding the right Medicare plan for you. He loves helping people, walking them through the overwhelm of, I don't know how to choose the best plan for me, or I did choose a plan based on the recommendation of a well-meaning friend or family member, and now I don't think it's actually the right one for me. Ryan Raphael is the best at matching you with a plan that lets you keep your own physicians and keep your prescriptions. It's like having the highest quality consultant on your team. The best news, it's free to you. Under the law, his fees are paid by the insurance companies. Go to MedicareManSTL.com or call 314-368-6808. That's Ryan Raphael's cell phone number just for you.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
Our headlines for this Wednesday afternoon, September 17th. Can't even believe I'm going to share this with you, but I know that there are people out there that love this sort of thing. The Reptile Room STL opens as Manchester's new hands-on reptile zoo.
No thanks.
Not for me. But a new attraction has opened in Manchester, promising an unforgettable experience for animal lovers and curious visitors. The Reptile Room STL is an interactive reptile zoo and specialty retail shop, hopes to become a premier destination for exotic pet enthusiasts. It's a one-of-a-kind facility blending education, conservation awareness, and hands-on interaction. From vibrant tropical setups to intricate desert landscapes, these immersive displays will showcase the beauty and diversity of reptiles from around the world. And if you so choose, you can get up close, very close to a variety of species in a safe, guided environment. The interactive reptile zoo aims to inspire fascination, respect, and a deeper understanding of these often misunderstood creatures, offering an engaging experience for all ages. The Reptile Room STL will also house a fully stocked retail shop offering top-tier enclosures, premium supplies, and exotic pet essentials. I don't think I want to know what those are.
Have you seen or heard of the cat cafes?
Oh, yeah.
Where you go in and there's just like,
They had one in Maplewood, I think, for
20
a while.
cats. Yeah, they did. Yeah. Is that what this is? But instead of cats, it's...
I think they're still in enclosures,
Lizards,
and
Gila
somebody's gonna
monsters.
somebody's gonna hand it to you or hold it while you pet it.
What's the big one in Southeast
The
Asia?
Komodo dragon.
The Komodo dragon.
Yeah.
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 No
big
thanks.
Monitor lizard.
You know what they say about those is that, yeah, the bite and everything hurts, but that their teeth are so nasty and germ-filled that you die from infection.
And I don't think it's venom.
No.
I think, like you said, it's just dirty, gross bacteria.
Yeah.
Didn't Sharon Stone's husband get bit by a Komodo dragon?
Yes, I think he did.
Really?
Right?
Yeah.
And he got really sick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
Well, it's just such an odd way to go.
Oh,
right.
Gosh,
You know?
I heard about Sharon's husband. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, he was attacked by a Komodo dragon. What?
I'm sorry, what?
Did you get that story out of the Inquirer? No, it
it
really
happened.
happened.
Oh, I was there. I saw it.
Speaking of one that you wouldn't believe it,
Yeah.
headline: Man says he took off shorts in bathroom to dry before getting on a train.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I bet.
27-year-old man went on Reddit and he asked whether he was wrong after taking off his shorts. He was wearing underwear. He'd spilled water all over himself, but before he got on the train, he went into the bathroom, took off his pants because he couldn't get up under the dryer, the wall hand dryer.
I think you just let it dry on its own, people.
Well, he admitted it was somewhat crowded, and some people said it was the wrong thing to do.
Was that wrong? Should I not have done that? I tell you, I gotta plead ignorance on this thing, because if anyone had said anything to me at all when I first started here, that sort of thing was frowned upon.
Right. He said at one point, a gentleman said, hey, okay, we need to cover that up. There's no place for that. He was wearing underwear, though. But he said his shorts were 95% dry, but because he was annoyed with somebody pointing out that he was acting improperly, he hung around in his underwear for about 15 more seconds to get him completely dry.
Just out of defiance.
And he said, according to him, he had on boxer shorts, and he just wanted to get dry. It's odd. I don't think I would have a problem if I walked in. I might do a double take.
Yeah.
But you go, okay, I get it, and move on.
Yeah.
Takes all kinds.
I'd go back to my seat and say, honey, you'll never believe
it.
And then actually you would come into the office on Monday and say, you're never going to believe.
Right. But that would happen to me, And
so what would
and then
you do?
I'd get on the news, local man takes his pants. No, I spilled some water on him.
Local radio celebrity.
Oh, yeah.
So would you do that, or would you go sit on the train all wet?
No, I'd sit all wet.
Yeah, I think I would.
I'd stay wet.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
So it happened in St. Charles, and they put a moratorium on the data centers. If you missed any of this, then you must not listen to McGraw's show in the morning. But there is now an alderwoman in the city of St. Louis who said she plans to introduce a bill next week that would impose a 1-year moratorium immediately on approval of data centers in the city of St. Louis. Now,
we're talking about like these energy suckers. Like it's going to maybe take energy even off the grid. I mean, as far as it goes, they just require so much and
puts a load on the grid.
Yeah.
And there currently are many data centers in the city of St. Louis, and a lot of them in some of these buildings that we drive past.
I had no idea.
Yeah, they're in there. But Mayor Kara Spencer said she supports a temporary pause to allow the city to establish smart regulation. Here's what she said. It's important that we as a city are clear that we are not seeking to ban data centers. While I have concerns about their effects on the environment, utility prices, that's the energy, vibrancy and urban living, I also recognize their importance to key industries in St. Louis, including biotech and the geospatial field, which we've got that geospatial thing that should be opening up anytime. AgTech healthcare, they also use these giant data centers. So the question is, can we put them elsewhere and still use them? Do they have to be in downtown? Do they have to be in St. Charles? Or as my nephew said as we were driving home from Indianapolis after going to the Colts game, looked around, he said, gosh, there's a lot of open land in this country.
There really is. And when you think about it.
Brother, you haven't been to Kansas, have you?
But you also need all those trees and all that. I mean, it's oxygen. It's good for the soul. It's so many things. I'll tell you what else is good for the soul. Participating in the Sun Run that Cardinal Glennon is doing coming up on October 12th. We've done it several times. Of course, my godchild Sophie was a Glennon kid. And what's so cool about the Sun Run, and it's a 5K and a 1 mile walk, is you've got all of the families, all of the teams, but then the Glennon kid is in a different color T-shirt, usually red. And so you know which kid spent some time at Glennon, and then to see them kind of leading their pack and these big smiles on their faces, it is really a cool morning. And then they do all kinds of other fun stuff. It's basically they might have a juggler, different performers that are there. There's usually a couple of Disney princesses, and then you've got donuts and coffee and food trucks. So it really is a fun way to show your support for Cardinal Glennon and the kids and families that have spent some time there. You can actually learn more at glennon.org about the Sun Run. Again, it's October 12th, and you can do a 5K. You can do just a 1 mile walk, but registration is open now. Go glennon.org GlassDoors.org/sunrun to have just a morning of reflection and kind of looking at to see exactly what this great institution, this great hospital in St. Louis has done. Glennon.org. Coming up, Lauren Risley joins us, and we'll talk about your home insurance policy.
This is Mariah, third generation at Newsteaders Fine Jewelry. Buying an engagement ring can be intimidating. At Newsteaders, we ensure complete understanding of your purchase. We offer a choice in both lab and mine-grown diamonds and are able to work with any budget. Let our family help educate you on your choice at Big Ben and Doherty Ferry or at wowdiamonds.com.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years, and their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody...
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRX.
Our house in the middle of our streets. Our house in the middle of our house in the middle of our streets. Our house.
Well, as we head into fall, we thought we should review what's covered and what's not when it comes to home insurance. And as we do with anything that has to do with a house, we turn to Lauren Risley, founder of Lauren Risley Realty. Good to see you.
Hi, guys.
And, the other thing that we talked about at the beginning of the show, the things that we talk about as we get older, it was like the corn, gas prices, and all of our aches and pains.
I thought it was like, are we talking about my knee now?
That's exactly. It's all the aches and pains. It means that now you're getting older, Lauren.
For all the listeners, though, when this little commercial break just happened, they were really hard on me about taking care of my body, yet Mr. Ramsey
No.
Yes.
may or may not be covered in bruises.
Yes.
We did
from
talk about
multiple
blood bruises,
sports
too.
injuries.
Head to
And
toe.
he's telling me, Lauren, you need to chill.
You need to chill
Lay off
for
here.
another week.
Okay.
It's a loving conversation. We
It
just want the
is.
best
It's
for
because
you.
you care for me.
That's exactly right. So let's talk about your
my homeowner's insurance.
homeowner. Yeah,
We can talk
maybe
about
we
mine
need to talk about
personally
health
if you want.
insurance.
Yeah.
As
Let's not go there.
Yeah, okay. We won't. But I'm wondering. First off, is it harder to get homeowners insurance these days?
So I wouldn't say that it's harder. Well, actually, it depends what state you're in.
Okay.
Right. So Florida and Texas are probably the hardest if you're in any of the areas that had the wildfires.
Yeah.
That's going to be
Hurricanes,
things like that. But specifically, Florida and Texas have had the most amount of non-renewals.
Got it. What about
my.
here with the tornadoes? Does that play a factor?
Yeah. So what's ironic is, we texted earlier today and said, hey, what do we want to chat about? And it's like, what's going on with homeowners insurance? And we text back and forth and said, cool, we'll talk on the show. Well, I get a call from my homeowner's insurance guy, and he says, hey, you're up for renewal on one of your rentals, and it's $3,500 currently, and it went up to $4,800.
Whoa.
And I was like, well, that's neat. I've never had a claim. And he's
Why?
like, and he's
Yeah.
so great. He said, well, I've already shopped it around, and there's this new insurance, and if everyone doesn't know, insurance is a bet.
Yeah.
Right,
You're betting against yourself.
In
case.
right?
Yeah.
In case, right? So you have health insurance in case you get sick. You have car insurance in case you get in an
Absolutely.
accident, right? And so he said, oh, there's this company, and they'll do it, but they don't. So right now, most properties have a rebuild policy. So not what is your house worth, but what would it cost to rebuild it?
Oh, yeah.
So, for example, Heidi and I both have houses built in 1886 or something. It'd cost a heck of a lot more to build that than it would a new construction house, right?
Yeah.
So my policy for my personal house is a rebuild. So it's like this is not what my house is worth, but let's say it's worth $500. My rebuild policy is like $1.2 million.
Got it.
So if my
my
house got
goodness.
leveled by a tornado or an earthquake, that's what I would get back, right?
Because
all
that's what
the
it would
brick.
take to rebuild it as is. Yeah.
Exactly. So now they are not. A lot of companies are no longer offering that.
Oh.
So they're saying what your actual value of your house is.
Wow.
So-
Even if you've been paying into that policy for the last 20 years.
Yeah, they're like, well, because you were
So
protected
your-
for the last 20 years.
Your
That's-
rates should go down then.
So this policy though does go down. So this policy is like $2,800. So my current's $35, but I had to actually. So it's not a rebuild, and this isn't on my primary, but it's on a rental. And he said, "What value do you want to cover?" And it's just so weird.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Do you want to do 350?" And I'm like, "Well, no, it's worth $6, so I would like to do at least $6." So that's a way that insurance companies are hedging their bets, right? Of like not having to do this rebuild. And then I'm taking on more risk, but getting a lower rate. And it's just, I laughed while he said it because I'm like, what would you do? And I'm like, okay, how many in the history of you owning a homeowner's insurance company, how many houses have ever needed to be rebuilt? I'm asking all these questions. I'm like, where's wood that I can knock on, while I'm asking?
So true. Somebody on the text line, do we automatically have replacement cost, or is that something extra that you have to, ask for?
So one of the things I wanted to make sure everybody knows is that you need to review your policy. Because we're not apples to apples here.
Every single policy is different.
We're a whole produce stand, right?
Okay.
We have every policy is different. So, in a perfect world, you have a homeowner's insurance person. If you don't, I'm happy to share mine. He is fantastic. He does my rental properties. He does my Cuba house, my golf cart.
All of it.
And he is so proactive. Like I said, he called me today. It could have just gone up, and that's it. That's that, right? But I ask him every year, hey, has any of my policies changed in terms of what they're covering? So they do have to notify you if they're making a change. But I mean, I get paperwork from Travelers or Safeco, and I don't even open it. I don't even open it. I'm like, this gets paid directly, so I'm not opening it.
Agreed.
But those could be the notifications where they're like, oh, hey, guess what? We're not doing this. So the other thing that's different on this new policy, and knowing we were having this conversation, I did look up some stats, and one of the biggest things is now your policy may not be covering full replacement on partial damage. So, for example, and this is what he explained to me. He said, "How old's your roof at that property?" And I said, "Probably 7 years." And he said, "It's a flat roof, yes." "What's its life expectancy?" I said, "About 20 years, 15 or 20 years." And he said, "Well, if it's 15 and you needed a new roof and it cost $8,000, they'd only give you half because you're halfway through your expectancy."
Oh, man.
What? And when I was looking up stats today, that's a huge change that homeowners insurance is doing. So you definitely want to check your policy, ask questions.
So I'm going to call my guy probably tomorrow. I was telling these guys over the weekend, we were in the dining room, changed things around, and looked up in the corner that you don't normally see when you go by and something had leaked upstairs, a toilet or a shower in the kids' bathroom. And it's a spot, a couple inches wide, but it's ruined.
Yeah.
It's got to be fixed. So typically when you're trying to do something like that, what happens?
In terms of insurance?
In terms of insurance and then getting somebody to fix it. Is it a plumber? Is it a carpenter? Is it everybody?
Yes. But I don't think that's a homeowner's claim.
Uh-huh.
I think a homeowner's claim typically is some sort of loss because of like something happening, not because of non-maintenance. And I'm not calling you out, Mr. Ramsey. I promise I'm not. But let's say there's a bathroom there. Let's say the vanity, there was a small leak under the sink. Well, who is underneath their vanity sink?
See the
right?
leak.
No one.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I can't even see under my vanity sink.
Yeah.
Like there's so much stuff under there that I don't use, right? So then if it starts leaking and then it sits on the bottom little thin piece of board on the cabinet and then it goes through that, and then it goes through the floor, and that can take years and years.
Right.
But that would not be considered something that homeowners would cover. That would be normal wear and tear maintenance. Now, if your water pipes burst,
I'm gonna suggest that's what happened.
I think you go home and burst your water pipes. I'm not sure how to do it, but I think you could probably Google something like that. So this is cool too. When I was doing a little research today, this is probably the best news of all of this, is there's a new act called the Homeowners Premium Tax Reduction Act of 2025. It's not in full effect yet, but if it goes through, it could allow homeowners to deduct up to $10,000 of their insurance premium from their primary residence.
Oh.
And that's pretty cool.
That is really cool. Somebody said their deductible for wind, storm, or hail damage increased to $5,000, but it's still $1,000 for all other perils. We had our roof replaced last year because of hail damage. You just don't know.
But that's the main reason in Missouri we have it, is hail and wind. So the other thing you can do when you reach out to your homeowners, if you don't have a person, just call. If it's Farmers or State Farm or Prudential, just call them and say you want to ask questions. But ask them about mitigation discounts.
Okay.
Or upgrade discounts. So like reinforcing the roof, storm shutters. This doesn't apply to us, but I did see that in California and other places, they put sprinkler systems on the outside of their house.
For wildfires?
And people that have a pool, it takes from the pool water. Like in case during emergencies, and can do that. So different things like that, help reduce.
That you might not have any idea even exists.
Right. And even my insurance, he said, well, if you want, we can go. Oh, because I asked him, I said, when we were talking about replacement value, I said, well, how does that get determined? Like if my house blows down the street and away, do they just go, oh, it's probably worth this? And he said, no, we determine the value now. And I'm like, that's so weird.
Well, here's another thing that is weird. Ours called the other day and said they just wanted to come in and take pictures of different things. And our neighbor said that happened to them a year ago. They took a picture. They saw this tree that was, hanging, and they didn't renew because of the tree. That's a possibility.
Or then if they saw that watermark at Bob's, then and later your pipes burst, they'd go, oh, no, this was an ongoing issue. It's their way of not paying out. So, for example, and if you guys are buying a home or selling a home, one, use us, but also Josh is like, yes,
of course.
Yes. Oftentimes as the listing agent, the buyer's agent will send me, let's say it's a renovated house, they'll send me this sheet, and it's usually State Farm or Allstate, and it says the electric, who did it, what year they did it, and they want those names. And I'm like, I'm not going to fill this out. And they're like, oh, you have to. I'm like, I don't have to.
No.
And they're like, oh, the insurance said you have to. I'm like, it's not my insurance. I'm not filling it out. This is not part of the real estate process. They're like, what do you want me to do? I'm like, I don't know.
Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, but I'm not filling it out. And neither is my seller. And they still get the insurance. But what the insurance company is trying to do is get the name of the licensed electrician, licensed plumber, licensed HVAC. And if there's an issue, they will first try and make them take care of it before the insurance company will pay it out. So they're just trying to find ways to get out of being liable.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, no, not gonna fill that out. I know you said someone on the text line said their claim was hail.
Yeah.
So the 46% of all personal property claims in 2023 included hail, wind, and fire.
Got it. So those are your big ones. Well, a lot of what we talk about here, Lauren and Adam will talk about more in depth on Call the Closer with Lauren Risley Realty, which airs here on the Big 550, KTRS Sundays at 1. But of course, if you're in the market to buy or sell a home, or if you just have a question, because knowledge is power, call Lauren Risley Realty, 314-775-0684. You can also email her at hello@laurenrisleyrealty.com. Good info. Thank you. 4:35, Captain Paul. What is Lauren's commute going to look like heading back to the city?
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. More heat on the way Thursday. We start off mild, though, low of 65, then a hot high of 93. Not overly humid, though, mostly.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This really should be played daily. Nice job,
Daily?
Josh. Nice job.
Daily.
Luckily, I'm a little too far away for you to slap me. I don't know that song.
You don't?
It sounds,
That's Winona's probably biggest hit as a solo artist.
It sounds really good.
Yeah,
I like it. But I don't know it.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of
don't
her-
hit me.
It's okay. I'm here to educate.
I'm learning. That's right.
That's right. You know, since we were talking about being older earlier, this is interesting. Younger senior citizens are trying to cancel the word senior because it sounds old. I don't like the word senior citizen either. I think we just say more mature or older.
I think I've gotten used to old fart.
Okay.
I've gotten
and you're
used to
okay with that.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah. They prefer Generation Jones. The
heck does that mean?
Any other label than senior. So
what about when my 21-year-old says, "Okay, boomer"?
You know what? I think they'd rather be called boomer when given the option than senior citizen.
I think it's funny, and I like that.
I'm with you. Now, historically, which I didn't realize this, people start being called seniors at 55, which seems a little too close for
Heidi,
comfort.
Tick-tock.
I can hear it, and it's getting louder, unfortunately.
Lauren just left, and she's suggesting seasoned.
Oh,
citizen.
I like
seasoned veteran.
Yeah,
Seasoned.
well educated.
I think no matter what it is that we decide to call, that's going to be the new senior.
Well,
I don't want to be called boomer. You know that people say that and they roll their eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay,
it's like there's not
boomer.
going to be a term that people are going to like, is there?
I think that in the beginning, you kind of do because it's just different. Somebody said my dispensary calls it a wisdom discount.
Oh, I like that.
I do too.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that is fantastic. There are other things that I think you could probably say, but yeah, senior citizen.
But I think after a while, after a couple of years, people are going to say, "Oh, wisdom. We got the wisdom discount. The wisdom twins just walked in.
Crotchety discount."
Yeah, that could be it as well. It's an interesting one. Well, while we're talking about the different generations, we all know that you get distracted at work, whether it's somebody coming in to have just a casual conversation. But according to a new survey, 55% of people say that they feel more productive in the office than at home. Of course, when you're at home. Now, I couldn't do it. I know people can. Marsha works from home, and she's fantastic at it, and she has her schedule. She barely comes out of the office, and even when she does, she's got her headset on and will hold the hand up to me not to say anything because it's a serious meeting. I would see a squirrel and be off doing my own thing. But the top distractors for, let's say, boomers are colleagues chatting. Maybe it's the political news that you want to talk about, major news events. Sometimes it's just whatever somebody is ranting about on Facebook. Then you go to the top distractors for Gen Z. Then we're talking about like social media. Maybe it's a personal notification on your phone, or the major news is more Taylor Swift getting engaged.
The entertainment section.
Yes. Gen X, similar, except for of all generations, they're the least distracted by political news. Instead, they're more sidetracked by personal notifications and fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And generally, the younger workers admit to having more distractions than older folks. I think you just kind of get stuck in your ways, and you can block things out if you're older.
I think Generation X is either they're running things now, or once they get there, they're going to run a pretty tight ship.
You think?
Yeah, because they always seem to me to be the middle child. Or,
that's interesting.
You know, the one that nobody fawned over, but also nobody really paid attention to, so they could do whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
You know, Generation X is going to get in there and really knock it out, I think.
That's an interesting take.
And I say that as a millennial who is distracted by the latest Taylor Swift news. My wife works from home from time to time, and she gets so much more done. She says people don't come up and talk to her.
Yeah.
There's no distractions. There's no this. She can just, put the blinders on and get stuff done.
Right.
When I worked from home, I had a cube job all those years ago. I was watching movies. I was taking long showers.
I think it's definitely for a particular type.
I would have been
we
fired.
Obviously
yes.
are not that.
When I was that year, I was working full time at the ballparks at the Lake of the Ozarks. I liked going into the office.
Yeah.
I just preferred the energy and atmosphere of being at the office and being on site.
And I think especially if you're in anything that is creative, you need kind of that stir, you need to play off of people. When you're just sitting there, I think sometimes it's harder to do.
For me, I think it's change of scenery. Like
I get that too.
I was doing some freelance writing. I had to go up to the bread company. I had to go to the library. I had to get out because if I'm in the same room as my bed, the temptation's too big.
Yes, it is.
Ernest says, I agree with Lauren. I like seasoned. How about experienced instead of senior? Someone else, I'm 67. Only time I embrace senior citizen and whether there's a discount involved.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I'm a senior.
Age challenged. Okay.
Age challenged.
Generation Jones, those born between 55 and 64 that don't feel connected to boomers. I had no idea that's...
Oh, a subset.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
Someone else says, I take senior as a compliment. Same as elder in Alaska Territory. Should be worn as a badge of knowledge. That's Bob the woodworker. I'm 72. I have not ever, nor do I now take exception to the word senior. Happy to have made it thus far. Love the show. That's Linda. Yeah. Elder cockle? Is that
They say a Yiddish term.
Okay.
Elder cockle. Altercacker.
Okay. All very interesting.
The elder cockers here.
So just tell us what you want to be called, and that's what we'll do.
We'll do it.
Some of my fondest memories as a kid is heading down to the hardware store. You had to pick up a couple of nails, a couple of screws, maybe a gallon of paint, whatever it may be, right? It was your friendly neighborhood hardware store. Well, those don't exist anymore in St. Louis, except for Schnarr's Hardware. They have two locations in Webster Groves and in Clayton Road in Ladue. Schnarr's Hardware is that place where you go in and you can get that bucket of paint, you can get a couple of screws. The advice is always free. And the one thing about Schnarr's Hardware that every single family hardware store used to have, and that is the smell. It smells like a hardware store. It's got the selection. I don't know how they do it. It's a small store, but they got everything you ever need. They got the paint. They got paint matching. They've got big green eggs. They've got screws and nails and everything a hardware store should have. Schnarr's Hardware, 2 locations, 1 great hardware store. Schnarr's Hardware, we'll see you there.
Hi, it's JJ from Spectrum Eyeglass Repair, the nation's leader in eyeglass repair. Is there a broken pair of sunglasses you thought were doomed to stay in the glove box? Are your glasses taped together, glued together? Bring them to Spectrum. We'll fix them. Spectrum Eyeglass Repair carries a large selection of pre-made clip-ons, cases, and accessories. We can custom make clip-ons to fit your frames. You'll like our service, and you'll love our prices, almost as much as you'll love our song. We're in Crestwood on Watson Road, and on the web at SpectrumEyeglassRepair.com. Now let's hear that groovy song one more time. Sing along with me. Spectrum Eyeglass Repair.
Eyeglass Repair. There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you are facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Whether you're on your way to see the Tigers or coming back home from the game, be sure to plan a side trip to Overstock Outlet, the best random store around where new inventory from the major big box stores arrives daily. You never know what great deals you'll find, and it's right on your way. 2 locations, in Lake St. Louis at Highway N and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, and in Warrenton at Highway 47 and Highway M. Open every day from 10 until 5. Find them on Facebook at Overstock Outlet Lake St. Louis, or check out their weekly online auctions at OverstockOutletAuctions.com. Let's go Tigers!
Appliance Discounters has another showroom, this time on Gravois Road, right next to the little Dairy Queen that's been there for ages. This showroom is different. It's packed with name brands, GE, LG, Bosch, that are slightly dinged, one-of-a-kind, or closeout items direct from the manufacturer. They all come with the factory warranties and all the factory rebates. You want huge savings at big discounts, theappliancediscounters.com. To find the one nearest you, including the one on Gravois Road in Afton, theappliancediscounters.com.
Looking for a new kitchen or bathroom? Call me, Anne Marie Bogus, the co-host of the Inside Out Show and owner and designer of Anne Marie Design Studio. Visit our website at annemariestudio.com. We can help you make your dream space a reality. We're a fine kitchen and bath boutique located in Wildwood. Our showroom phone number is 636-821-3395. And again, our website is annemariestudio.com. Let's turn your kitchen or bath into the dream reality with Anne Marie Design Studio.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show
with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey
on the Big 550 KTRS.
8 minutes before 5 o'clock, we're going to talk to Alex Stone here in a minute about students returning to campus after that shooting. But first, let's grab Captain Paul, see how traffic's moving along.
Well, if you may not have heard, the Fed has cut interest rates by 1/4 of a point signaling that later in the year they'll make a couple more cuts. You better believe we're going to talk about that this weekend on Keep What's Yours with Jeff Zufall. Jeff, of course, is with Capital Advisory Group, 636-394-5524. What does the rate cut mean for me? We'll talk about it tomorrow with Caleb Silver. He's a friend of the show. He's going to join us.
Looking forward to that.
He'll tell us what it means, and then I'll say what Caleb said to Jeff on the weekend, and Jeff will be like, Josh, you're so smart. Where'd you come up with that? And I'll just say, well, I don't know. I just came up with, We won't tell him that I stole it from Caleb. But Jeff will talk taxes. He'll talk about interest rates. He'll talk what these all mean to your personal finances, because we all are little snowflakes when it comes to our financial needs and wants and taxes in our retirement. Give Jeff a call, 636-394-5524. We can't do it alone. We need the help, and everybody is different, so Jeff can sit down and find out what plan is good for you and what this rate cut means for you. So give him a call, 636-394-5524, capitaladvisorygrp.com, and listen to the show Keep What's Yours this weekend at 1.
Students at Utah Valley University are returning to campus today. It's got to be a tough situation. Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent, joins us with that story. I mean, sad, anxious. I can't imagine stepping back on that campus after what some of these students witnessed.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of the students are saying, that it being exactly a week after the shooting, and Governor Cox has been there talking to students, and they've got resources and therapists on campus and that sort of thing. But it's tough going back, and some students are saying that they feel totally okay with it, that they feel like this was such a specific shooting that they're not in danger. Others say that they're never going to feel right going back on that campus, but Hope Ledkins, she's a first-year student. She says, usually it's a very relaxed community college environment. They don't talk a lot of politics on campus, being a community college. A lot of kids are just, coming on to take whatever courses they've got to take, and then they're out of there. That they're not living on campus like a traditional 4-year, and where kids are debating a lot of stuff. But she says some of her friends have chosen to go online and to take their courses online and not come back. Some went back home to live with their parents, and she told us
it is kind of an unusual feeling because it is Family City, USA. We are known for our safe environment, and so to have something like this happen in Orem is very frightening and very weird for our community, so it's kind of shaking us up a little bit.
But other students are saying they're not worried at all about going back, that they feel like it's totally safe.
I'm not necessarily personally fearful of it. I mean, I'm sure they're going to up the security on campus, at least for a little while, just so people feel safer. But at the end of the day, I don't think we have anything to worry about, unless if someone's really hating on comes. But I think they'll be more prepared next time.
And guys, today we're hearing from the sheriff in Washington County for the first time, down near St. George, where Tyler Robinson turned himself in. We have heard the account of the surrender from prosecutors and from the governor, but not directly from the sheriff who was in charge of it and at his sheriff's department. But the sheriff describing it, and one clearing up that Tyler Robinson's father did not work for the sheriff's department, is not an ex-cop. That's gone wide. There was somebody by the same name, but that is not his father. And he says that person's now getting harassed because people think that is his father, but it is not his father. But the sheriff saying the way it went down, he got a call from another retired deputy who said, hey, look, I know who the shooter is. We're going to try to convince him to turn himself in. And the sheriff saying he couldn't believe it when his phone rang, and that's what he heard.
I couldn't fathom what actually came out of his mouth. So he said, hey, I know who Charlie Kirk's shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now, and we're working on trying to get him to come in voluntarily.
And he says part of the deal was to turn himself in to deputies in plain clothes who would meet to arrest him. He wanted it to be delicate. He didn't want to get shot.
He knew it was inevitable that he would be caught. He was fearful of a SWAT team hit on his house, or he was fearful of being shot by law enforcement. So part of the negotiation and getting him to bring himself in was that we would treat it as delicate and as soft as possible to make him feel comfortable to where he would show up at my office, and that's exactly what happened.
And he says after he turned himself in, they held him for about 2.5 hours waiting for federal agents and for police from Orem to drive down and then take him into custody, and they just kind of left him there, gave him a bottle of water and said, just wait right here. But the sheriff saying really that retired deputy deserves full credit for negotiating the surrender, getting him not to kill himself, because we know Tyler Robinson had said he didn't want to go to prison, he wanted to die, and to get him to go and turn himself in, and that the surrender in the end was calm, it was peaceful, and investigators arrived and then put him into handcuffs.
Are these text messages that he shared with his roommate, are those real?
They are. Well, I mean, I don't know which ones you're talking about specifically, but there are a number of text messages that the prosecutors have included in the court documents about a letter that he left, and then describing that he did it because what he said was all the hate in the world. That there were numerous text messages that went back and forth.
And Alex, what about the university? Have they kind of closed the campus to anybody else coming on and speaking at this point?
Yeah, I mean, for speakers at least, and it's limited of who can go on campus immediately right now anyway. That'll open up over time, but it's going to take a while for them to figure out how they're going to move forward when it comes to having speakers on campus. There's still a large memorial. People are showing up. They're leaving flowers and candles and cards and balloons. That's been growing every day.
All right, Alex Stone, ABC News correspondent. Thanks for your coverage.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
All right, lots of people clocking out. Gonna grab dinner, enjoy maybe a little TV tonight. We got more to get to, though. We're going to talk to a guy with the USS LST ship. This is a floating museum that you can actually step aboard starting tomorrow. We'll tell you all about it coming up after this short break. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Bob Ramsey and Josh Gilbert on the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
This is the Big 550 KTRS St. Louis.
Scooped up by Missouri Zion Young at the 15, to the 10, to the house, to the house.
The home of Mizzou football. Don't miss any of the action.
I'm Michelle Franzen. New appointees of the CDC panel expected to meet tomorrow to determine vaccine guideline changes for children. Today, the fired head of the CDC testified about her dismissal before a Senate committee.
The hearing began with Republican Committee Chair and Dr. Bill Cassidy asking why the CDC director would be removed after less than a month on the job.
Like, what happened?
Susan Menares says she was ousted because she rejected pressure to be, quote, on board with forthcoming childhood vaccine recommendations.
I cannot sign off on something before I see the data and the evidence.
In a statement, an HHS spokesperson said the director was dismissed because she, quote, acted maliciously to undermine the president's agenda. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
At Windsor Castle this hour in the UK, King Charles and Queen Camilla and the royal family are hosting a state dinner marking President Trump and the First Lady's visit to the UK. 160 dignitaries are attending the formal event, the length of the banquet table for tonight's dinner stretching nearly 52 yards. ABC's Mary Bruce says tomorrow the president meets with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer.
President Trump has been pretty blunt and frank that he doesn't expect much concrete to come out of this visit. This is largely about ceremony and a chance to really shore up and strengthen the ties that bind these two nations.
Authorities in Utah's Washington County held a briefing today on suspect Tyler Robinson, the accused killer of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby describing the call by a friend of the Robinson family who alerted authorities about the suspects wanting to surrender.
He said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk's shooter is. I know the family through religious association, and he's in Washington County now."
The Fed board lowering interest rates by a quarter point, the first rate cut this year. Chair Jerome Powell says risks remain, though, with inflation and a slowing job market. You're listening to ABC News.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-859-3220. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-859-3220. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-859-3220 or biglou.com.
This is KTRS News. I'm Sobe Bay.
A Lincoln County man is heading to prison for molesting his foster children. 62-year-old Ronald Graham of Troy was sentenced yesterday to 10 years in prison. Lincoln County prosecutor Mike Wood says these crimes should have been stopped years ago and that DCFS ignored at least one direct complaint from a victim. U.S. Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri says he has secured a commitment from FBI Director Kash Patel to further investigate the harms of AI chatbots and anti-Christian violence in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. During a hearing, Hawley asked Patel if the FBI is investigating the Kirk assassination as part of this broader pattern of anti-religious, anti-Christian violence. Patel replied publicly, "I can tell you that we have 5 hate crime investigations with anti-Catholic bias going on currently. Any ideologically based attack against any faith, as a man of faith myself, will not be tolerated, and the full resources of the FBI are committed to all of it." Meantime, the St. Louis County Council voted against a resolution honoring the life and legacy of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who was assassinated on the college campus 1 week ago today. KTRS's Jill Enders reports.
The resolution to honor Christian conservative activist Charlie Kirk failed by a vote of 5-2 during last night's St. Louis County Council meeting. Those in favor said they felt the resolution was about defending freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and condemning political violence. Those against it said they felt some of Kirk's past comments disqualified him for the recognition, and also said they felt it was inappropriate to elevate an unelected official with such an honor. Jill Enders, KTRS News.
A student was taken into custody after a gun was found at Belleville West High School. Staff notified the school resource officer that a student allegedly had a gun at the school. That's when police say a search was conducted and a gun was found. The student was immediately arrested. A St. Peter's man who has been battling the city for 4 years over sunflowers in his yard is going to trial again. Chris Banks has grown rows of sunflowers in his front yard for several years, which the city of St. Peter's cites as an ordinance violation. The new trial date is set for October 14th. The Illinois Department of Corrections wanted to withhold mail from incarcerated people and instead deliver electronically scanned copies of correspondence. A legislative oversight panel has formally objected and has put a temporary stop to the mail policy. The Consumer Council of Missouri is reaching out to help residents this weekend understand their options before Medicare enrollment begins. More from KTRS's Steve Potter.
The council is reminding that it's that time of year again. TVs are full of corporate ads for Medicare Advantage, promising everything from zero premiums to free dental. It's a major decision that can impact your health and finances for years to come. The Consumers Council of Missouri is holding a free webinar this weekend that they say will go behind the ads to really understand your options, enabling you to select a Medicare plan that's right for you, be it traditional, Medigap, or Medicare Advantage. Hosted by the chair of the Missouri Chapter of Physicians for a National Health Program, the Zoom webinar will be Saturday at 10 a.m. Meanwhile, the council's annual fundraiser is set for October 5th at the Phyllis Wheatley Heritage Center on Locust Street in St. Louis, featuring Dr. J.L. Punch, who will speak about what the May 16th tornado and recovery efforts have revealed about building equity and healthy communities in St. Louis. Steve Potter, KTRS News.
The Boeing strike is in this KTRS Business Minute, brought to you by Walter Knoll Florist, the place for all your floral needs. Place your order anytime at WKF.com. Striking St. Louis Boeing workers plan to vote on a union-proposed strike settlement this Friday. This comes after members of the International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers rejected the company's latest contract offer last Friday. Boeing released a statement which reads in part, "This publicity stunt is a waste of time and will not help the parties reach a deal. The union continues to create false expectations by voting on an offer we never made, including terms we've expressly told them we won't accept." And now let's take a look at the markets, brought to you by JBL Financial. Tune in to Straight Talk on Retirement, Saturday mornings from 9 to 11 a.m. Wall Street is mixed at the close today. Dow Jones is up 260 points to 46,018. The S&P 500 is down 6 to 6,600. The Nasdaq is down 72 to 22,261. Now let's check sports and traffic with Captain Paul Kopsky. Thank you, Captain Paul. KTRS weather tonight, clear, overnight low of 62. Tomorrow, sunny and a high of 93. Right now, we have 89 degrees. The time is 5:09. I'm Sobe Bay, KTRS News, the talk of St. Louis.
You can count on Cantor. I'm Mark Cantor. When I was 12 years old, I witnessed my father, a pediatric doctor at Cardinal Glennon Hospital, suffer a terrible accident when a large and defective battery exploded in his face. My father went into shock and had to undergo emergency surgery to save his life. While my dad recovered, he hired a lawyer who promised that no one else would be hurt by that company's product, and he filed a lawsuit to make sure no one did. I love my dad, and what he went through inspired me to become a lawyer and to start Cantor Injury Law. Like my father, I serve the St. Louis community, and I have done so for over 30 years. You can count on Cantor to treat you like family, to understand your case and your injury, and to fight for you. You can count on Cantor to help make things right. Visit cantorinjurylaw.com or find us on Facebook or call us at 314-628-9999. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision, should not be based solely upon advertisement, so call Cantor.
Hi, it's Frank Cusimano inviting you to join me for the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. We're going to interview some of the biggest names in sports and have our opening monologue. That's the Press Box, brought to you by Control Option, Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
At Maryville University, we power dreams, not just degrees. For nearly 150 years, we've empowered graduates to build successful careers. At Maryville, expect a rigorous, technology-driven, mentor-inspired education in a diverse and inclusive learning environment. We help you take it to the next level, no matter what field you choose. Now is the time to turn your ambition into action and transform your dream into reality. Start your journey at maryville.edu.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show
With Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey.
on the Big 550 KTRS.
You have a unique opportunity to step aboard the only operational landing ship tank from World War II over the next couple of days in Alton, Illinois. Ken Rupp is joining us with all the details. Thanks for joining us this afternoon.
Hey, thank you. I love that intro.
Yeah,
You'll hear that music on the ship.
Really? Well, I mean,
yes.
This is really a way to step back in time and into history. Tell us about it.
Well, our catchphrase is you get to walk the decks of history, and you truly are walking the decks of history. If the walls could talk, where that ship has been, what that ship has done, it's just phenomenal. And it's a great story.
Yeah, and it was really revolutionary at the time.
Oh, absolutely. The lessons of Dunkirk. If you go back in your history books, the Germans were coming across France. This is World War II, and had pushed the French troops and the British troops to the city of Dunkirk, and they couldn't get off the beach. The port was destroyed, so they couldn't bring in standard vessels. So they literally had an armada of anything that floats to get those guys off the beach. But Churchill learned the lesson. He says, hey, if I'm going to invade France, I've got to have a boat or a ship that can put equipment on the shore. And hence he said, I need an LST, or I need a vessel like an LST. And then the LST was born.
Huh.
So Bob and I here were huge history buffs, huge World War II buffs. We know about the ships that moved the people. You see it at the beginning of Saving Private Ryan. But I don't think either one of us knew about the ships that were the exact same, except they moved tanks and equipment.
You've got that spot on. In fact, you're talking about the Higgins boats that everybody sees on the ramp drops down and the soldiers run off. Well, we carry 4 Higgins boats on the LST during World War II.
4 of them.
We still have 2 of them hung on the side, so you'll see the Higgins boats. But this is Higgins boats on steroids, basically. It would carry 20 Sherman tanks.
What?
Whoa. How big is this ship?
It's 328 feet long and 50 feet wide.
Massive.
Oh my. So I know we know a little bit about the Higgins boats in New Orleans and all those sort of things. How did this ship, you mentioned Churchill, how did it get developed? Where were they built? And then what was when were they first put into service?
Okay. The story goes that they went to a submarine designer, and he sat down with a sketchbook and a napkin and basically mapped out the ship on a napkin. From there, it expanded to full drawings and everything, but the concept was done on a napkin.
Wow.
It's a great story. And this ship, every time you turn it around and look at something, wow, they were thinking about that. Wow, they were thinking about that. We've got a picture of the ship on the beach of Normandy, and the tide went out. Okay? Well, that's not a big deal when the tide comes back and you refloat. But the trouble is you've got motors running on that ship that needs that water for cooling. So they were thinking far enough ahead to take the water out of the ballast tanks and keep circulating that through the engines to keep them cool. Just one of those little things they do.
And this isn't just something that they, you go and see an aircraft carrier in San Diego, or I think they have one up in New York. They're very stationary. This isn't being drug in by a tugboat. This thing still floats and runs, and you guys drive it to every stop.
That's exactly right. It's fully operational. So when you flip a switch on the wall, you better know what it's doing, because it may be turning on a motor someplace.
So, Ken, is the ship exactly as it was when it was taken out of service?
Very close. The story of the ship is very interesting. It was built in 1942, and that was one of the questions that came out earlier. And it was put into service with the U.S. Navy, and it made 7 crossings for Salerno and Sicily for that invasion, 44 trips across the channel for Normandy. So it did all its time in the European theater. After the ports got established, the LSTs weren't needed over there, so they brought them back to the United States and started refurbishing them, getting them ready for the South Pacific. So it did not have anti-aircraft guns on that ship in Europe. We do now. They put those on, getting ready for the South Pacific. Well, the war ended, so they mothballed it. Early 60s, they were putting in the DEW line. They needed a ship to haul bulldozers up to the northern, like Greenland and those countries, to put in radar stations. Well, LST tracked vessels right off the ramp, away they went. So they brought her back into service for a few years for that. Then it went to the Greek Navy, so it spent 30 years in the Greek Navy. So when you come aboard this ship, not only are you going to see the American markings, you're also going to see the Greek markings, because part of the arrangement between the Greek government and the sailors that brought it back was, we're going to maintain both heritages. So you'll see when you walk into up and look at the bow of the ship, you'll see the word Syros. That was the Greek name for the ship. The U.S. Navy did not name the ship. It just called it LST 325.
Fascinating.
They built over 1,000 of these ships, 1,051 to be exact, for World War II.
Wow. So you mentioned, and Josh mentioned, piloting this the ship up the river, but I can't imagine anybody can get on and run this thing. Do you have to have a specialty person? How does that work?
Well, our pilots have to have special ratings, so yes. And a lot of them come off of tugboats on the river. They donate their time. Everyone's a volunteer on the ship. So we get these guys off the river to take a few days off and bring us someplace. And then the rest of the crew is all a variety of backgrounds. We've got an individual that works for NASA as a rocket scientist. We've got electrical engineers. We got truck drivers. We got the whole range of backgrounds, and everyone brings their own skill set.
Yeah, we're talking to
that's how it goes.
Ken Rupp, who is talking about the landing ship tank from World War II, and it's going to be in Alton, Illinois for the next couple of days. And I'm wondering what kind of artifacts we'll find on the ship.
Well, we've got a couple of Jeeps on board. The tank, the whole ship itself is really an artifact, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got displays showing how the soldiers and sailors did their jobs. You'll be able to literally walk it where the troop berthing is. You'll see how they slept. You'll see how they ate. All those things are available to see.
So we're talking mattresses are still there. There's still a pot on top of the stove. The stove is still there.
Or using the galley. That's how we. That's how
that's
we
how
cook.
you eat.
Yes, we live on the ship.
Wow. And you sleep there. You're not going to some hotel in Alton.
No, we're on the ship.
Oh, my goodness.
Man. Now, there's also going to be stories told. There's an oral history part of this.
There's docents throughout the ship. It's a self-guided tour, and each individual will be able to tell you about that area of the ship. You talk to the guy standing by the engine room, he'll be able to tell you about the two diesel engines sitting down below, the auxiliary power units that give us our power. You'll get up to the galley and see the galley, walk by the wardroom, the captains. You'll go on the back part of the ship and see the anti-aircraft guns, and there'll be people all around the ship to talk to about it.
Yeah. I want to know what's one of the common things that you hear when someone tours the ship.
The initial experience when they walk on board is like, wow, this thing's big.
And the ship is regularly docked in Evansville, Indiana.
Yeah.
And Bob and I got a map out, old school, and they must have gone down the Ohio and then back up the Mississippi. How often do you guys get this thing out?
We take it out once a year. It's a 30-day cruise. We've got an arrangement with the city of Evansville that is on display and available for tours in the city of Evansville, because Evansville was a hub of activity during the war.
Really?
They built LSTs there. They built the P-47 aircraft there. Wow. They had an ammunition plant. I mean, it was just phenomenal. And we've got a display that explains that in the area. But we're trying to tell the whole story, the story of the sailors, the story of the soldiers and Marines that traveled on this ship, and the story of the women that built this ship.
Oh.
There's 19,000 people in that shipyard in Evansville alone. That was just one of 5 shipyards. And you get out of high school, you go to the shipyard, you work a 12-hour shift. There was no gap year or whatever, go to college. This was wartime.
This is real life.
And everybody sacrificed.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, this is a really great opportunity to step back in history, and you can step aboard the USS LST starting tomorrow at the Port of Alton, which is behind the Alton Amphitheater. The ship will be on display from 9 to 5 tomorrow through Monday, September 22nd. Admission is about $20 for adults, $10 for kids between the ages of 6 and 17. Ken, thank you so much for joining us and for bringing this ship to us.
It's our pleasure. We'd love to show her off.
I understand why. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And they've got a great website. If you go to it, a lot of pictures. Some parts are very interactive. But I can't wait to go see this thing in person.
Yeah, I can't believe how big the thing is. It's going to be really cool and a must-see, I think, for so many people, especially if you love history.
Zero is your hero at HW Kia. 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, or 0% for 48 months. Even 0 tariff pricing on every clearly marked new HW Kia in stock. Currently stuck in your loan or lease? Big D, the trade man, wants to get you released. Up to 120% over fair market value for your trade. Every clearly marked new HW Kia. 0 down, 0 payments for 90 days, or 0% for 48 months. Even gas and all-wheel drive Sportage and Sorrento SUVs. Have a job clearing $450 a week? You're practically approved. So bring your trade and lease a new Seltos S, Nero LX, or Soul. Just $99 a month. $49.95 due. And you guessed it, 0 security deposit. But when they're gone. You heard right. Choose your new Kia and drive for $99 a month. That's less than the cost of a daily cup of coffee. Only at HWKia.com. On approved credit, not all will qualify. Plus tax, title, license, 587, title, and registration processing fee. Negative equity refinance to new loan. Rebates and incentives to dealer. 24-month, 10,000-mile lease. $49.95 due. Offers not a combination. Expires September 6, 2025.
Scott, remember when the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Pile were flying around the arch selling flooring?
Andrea, that was the Queen of Carpet and the Princess of Tile.
Oh, that's right. But we don't need shtick here at Best Buy Flooring.
That's right, because our in-stock selection of carpet, carpet tile, sheet vinyl, laminate, hardwood, luxury vinyl plank, and luxury vinyl tile are already at low, low prices.
Come see us at our 3 area locations, North County, South County, and Metro East. Open 7 days a week.
Plus, free financing on approved credit. Best flooring, best selection, Best Buy Flooring.
Looking for a great local restaurant recommendation?
Missy Mo.
Tune in to the Kuno Food Service weekly special during the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Hear from the best of the best restaurant owners in town. Only on the Frank and Jill Show, Thursdays at 11. Presented by Kuno Food Service, right here on the Big 550 KTRS, the talk of St. Louis.
Congratulations to John Beal Roofing. Want to give them a shout out. They've been a sponsor of the show through thick and through thin for coming up on 20 years. And their message has remained the same all these 20 years. Make sure you call someone local. With all the storms that have been in the area over the last couple of months, it's been busy, and a lot of out-of-towners are coming in. They sure are nice, but you know what? They'll take half your money, and you never see them again. Somebody from the insurance industry told me, make sure you call local. I told him I was well-schooled. John Beal Roofing will guarantee you the best price. They'll work with your insurance company and make sure you get the claim you deserve to fix it and fix it right. Roofing, siding, gutters, all storm damage, John Beal Roofing will take care of it. Keep it local and keep it John Beal. Keep it in the family for 20-plus years. John Beal Roofing, 1-800-NEW-ROOF or johnbealroofing.com.
Sherry, what have you done to your hair? What do you mean? Does it not look good? It doesn't look good. It looks freaking amazing. I can't believe how thick and healthy it looks. Oh, I must know your secret. No secret. It's hair volume from New Nordic. Hair volume, huh? Well, it certainly lives up to its name. Your hair has never looked so thick. It is gorgeous. I was so tired of having thin and brittle hair. Ugh, and the shedding. So I figured I'd give hair volume a try. Needless to say, I'm thrilled with the results. Hey, where are you going? I'm gonna pick up some hair volume right now. My reunion's next month and I want my hair to look as good as yours.
Hair Volume is the best-selling hair tablet in the world and one of many award-winning natural health products from New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Scandinavia. Purchase at newnordicusa.com or your local CVS. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Help your hair look full, voluminous, and beautiful again at newnordicusa.com or CVS.
This Saturday in the heart of Webster Groves, the passion of jazz and blues mixes with delicious food and drinks for one heck of a good time. The award-winning Webster Jazz and Blues Festival is back this Saturday. All the details are waiting for you at oldwebsterjazzfest.com. Welcomed by the Big 550 KTRS. You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show
with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey
on the Big 550 KTRS.
Somebody's asking, is it the same LST that was in Alton 10 years ago on the way to get restored? I would bet it probably
it's got to be.
Is, if it's the only operational one, right?
I can't believe that these guys, and this has got to be like a summer camp for these guys.
Yeah, we're just talking, and I asked them about who are the skippers, and they get professional boat pilots, captains from tugboats and things. But what a trip that must be to get off your tugboat and drive one of these things.
Well, a trip, and then the responsibility of the history that you are then, kind of in charge of. It might be a little nerve-wracking as well.
I hope they don't run into that casino over there.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
We can buff that right out.
It just takes a little bit. Elbow grease.
Yeah.
All right, it's 5:28. Man, this show is moving right along, but is traffic, Captain Paul? I mentioned earlier that today is Marsha's birthday, and as we were pulling in to St. Louis, I said, go back to your birthday last year and let's just look through the pictures to see what we've done, which I think is the main reason to take pictures, because you kind of forget about some of those things. But what we both noticed is how much thinner we look now than we did a year ago, because, of course, we hadn't discovered Premier U, and now we both have. She's down 22 pounds. I'm down 18. And here's the key. We feel so much better. We're walking with our heads held higher and with more confidence. That's what Premier U can help with you. I mean, yes, we're talking about the weight loss medications, but that is just one of the many tools that Premier U actually helps you with. That can kind of curb your appetite, but you still got to do the other work. You got to get your steps in. You got to lift some weights, because this is kind of a program that wants to keep you healthy, not just look thinner. So when you go in and you check in with Premier U, you get on a scale that's not like one you have at home, and it measures your muscle. It measures your visceral fat. It kind of shows you where things are, even down to like how many pounds your right arm is, what's your left arm, what do you really need to work on, and then you work on that plan just for you. Every single plan is individualized for you. That's another thing that I love. It's not some cookie cutter that you're going to get the same exact plan that I have. So schedule an appointment with Premier U and get back to feeling like you again, or even better. Premier U has 2 locations, Swansea, South County. You can give them a call. Schedule that appointment, 618-750-LIFE. You can also go online, premiermed.com, premierumed.com.
The big, beautiful tax bill just passed. Do you know how these changes will affect your financial plan? What changes has your financial advisor made to take advantage of these opportunities before they expire? Join me, Kevin Lloyd, for my next tax workshop, 314-641-1010. Learn how these changes can benefit you and your family, 314-641-1010.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPLA, registered investment advisor, member FINRA, SIPC.
Hi, it's David Sherwood of the Inside Out Show and president of Sherwood's Forest on Barrett Station Road, just south of Manchester. Fall planting season is here now. We are fully stocked with the area's largest selection of evergreens, Japanese maples, magnolias, and shade trees. Choose from lilac trees, sugar maples, birch, October glory, hornbeams, and crab to provide summertime shade and great fall and spring color. At Sherwood's Forest, you'll also find hundreds of green giant arborvitae and junipers to screen thy neighbor.
And right now, get 5 mums for $40.
Sherwood's Forest has been planting smiles for over 45 years, so head to the forest, Sherwood's Forest at 2651 Barrett Station Road, or check out our inventory at sherwoods-forest.com or call 314-966-0028.
heard from the ousted CDC director, Susan Menares, that she said Kennedy wanted her to rubber stamp essentially upcoming changes to the childhood vaccine schedule. That's the schedule that you get recommended for vaccines for children when they go to their pediatrician, often in those early doctor's appointments. She also said he wanted her to sign off on firing or fire high-level CDC officials who oversee vaccines. This is a version of the events that HHS, the Department of Health and Human Services, does dispute. But for now, it is what the record before the Senate was, and HHS does have the invitation to come before the Senate if they want to, clarify that version of events.
Cheyenne, I think it's really interesting. Do we know, is there a in writing standard procedure policy when things come down from the top? Do the subordinates or the directors just below the director, do they have a protocol they need to go through, or is it just sort of, oh, this is the way we've always done it? I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, I think that it is typical for somebody like the CDC director, if they're making major policy changes, to have to run those by, for example, the political appointees above them would be the HHS secretary, which Kennedy is. What isn't typical is to see vast interference in scientific decisions, which a lot of people would argue vaccine recommendations really are. They're very evidence-based. The committee that reviews the recommendations for the CDC spends a lot of time reviewing complicated data and evidence on the safety and efficacy of those vaccines. So things like that are not typically, one would hope, the medical community, are not typically political and don't typically go through the political apparatus the way that something, in President Trump's agenda maybe would.
Got it. Does a former CDC director usually go before the Senate committee, or is this unusual?
It is the first time. Susan Menares was the first CDC director to come before the Senate for her confirmation. What that means is that the president appointed her to that position. She went before the Senate. She testified in a hearing. She was asked questions, and then they confirmed her. All Republicans voted for her. Democrats and independents did not. And that was the first time we saw a CDC director be confirmed by the Senate. That was actually voted on by the Senate to become a Senate-confirmed position, what would be, essentially politicization of science and vaccines over the last few years with the pandemic. So this is the first time that we've seen that. Of course, her being pushed out of the job just 4 weeks in, also incredibly unprecedented, and coming back to testify about her narrative of the events from that day, very, very unprecedented.
So if she's confirmed by the Senate, then who has the power to fire? Who fired her? Did Trump fire her, or did RFK Jr. fire her? And does he have that power?
If you recall, this was sort of the key dispute when she was initially pushed out of the position.
Oh, that's because she hadn't heard directly from the president.
Right. She said, if you want me to go because I will not rubber stamp upcoming vaccine changes or fire top CDC scientists, the president needs to fire me. And she, in a way, dared Trump to own these policy changes under Kennedy. Trump didn't ever come out and publicly announce her firing or speak to the back and forth between her and Kennedy, but he did ultimately, the White House did ultimately fire her. And so, she pushed all along that Kennedy cannot be the one who fires her, given she is a Senate-confirmed appointee of the president, and it was ultimately the White House that did dismiss her from her position.
And then was she well received by the Senate in the chat today?
We saw a significant chipping away of the support for Robert F. Kennedy Jr. when he came before the Senate just recently. In the aftermath of all of this, we saw Chairman Bill Cassidy, a Republican on the Senate Health Committee, who is also a doctor and supportive of vaccines, really push Kennedy in a way that he hadn't before on what he was planning on doing, on the vaccine changes he had already made, and how he thought that Kennedy was effectively denying people vaccines already. And this time around, when we saw Menares come before the Senate, she also saw, especially, there were points where Cassidy and Senator Bernie Sanders, who's a ranking member on the committee, were on the same side of issues, which isn't something you normally see. There were certainly, though, some Republicans, Senator Mark Wayne Mullen, Senator Roger Marshall, Senator Rand Paul, who do still align very strongly with Kennedy. They believe that there are necessary changes to be made to childhood vaccine schedule, and you could see who was certainly still aligned and pushing sort of on behalf of Kennedy on Monterez's story there. But there was a chipping away of support, I would say.
Speaking of, the now acting CDC director, Jim O'Neill, does he agree with Robert F. Kennedy Jr.?
That seems to be a pretty aligned partnership there, yes.
Got it. And has he already been, recommended, or is he officially it, not just the acting CDC director? He's been confirmed?
He's the acting CDC director, and the next CDC director would need to come before the Senate, which is why we're closely watching just how much support Kennedy is still receiving, because that next CDC director, if confirmed, needs to be voted on across the Senate and widely supported by Republicans.
Got it. All right. Cheyenne Hazlitt, ABC News policy reporter in Washington. Thanks for your report.
Thank you.
And now, KTRS weather from the John Beal Roofing Weather Desk.
First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. More heat on the way Thursday. We start off mild, though, low of 65, then a hot high of 93. Not overly humid, though, mostly sunny skies. And then on Friday, 87, still a warm day, partly to mostly cloudy, and a 30% chance for a shower or thunderstorm on our Friday. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton for the Big 550 KTRS.
John Beal Roofing is the home of the lowest price roofing guarantee. Get a free estimate today at johnbealroofing.com.
Julie Buck here for the Only Facial. If you want great skin, and I mean, who doesn't, then pop into the Only Facial and get a facial. They've got so many steps to this process, and it's one price, $125. No tipping, no upsells, no product sales. Just a fabulous facial, including microderm abrasion and dermaplaning, and of course, therapeutic massage, just to name a few of the things that will happen during your facial at the Only Facial, with locations all over St. Louis. Also in Overland Park, Kansas, too. So if you're in the KC area, you'll know that you can just go to the Only Facial and get that same facial that you know and love, that you get in Frontenac, that you get in Clayton, that you get in Columbia, Missouri, Sunset Hills, all over town. Look for it. They're pink. You can't miss them, and it's fabulous. It's called The Only Facial, and you can find out more online and book now, too, at theonlyfacial.com.
Riverbend Kitchen and More is your Better Business Bureau accredited project partner that is attentive and responsive to your vision from concept to completion. Riverbend specializes in kitchens and baths, but also bars, bookcases, cabinetry, countertops, and more. Proud supplier of Waypoint Living Spaces cabinets, as well as other quality cabinet lines. Call before the end of September and mention KTRS to receive a free stainless steel sink with the purchase of a countertop. Financing available, located in Soulard, Alton, and Mascoutah. Call 314-314-7411. Online at riverbendkm.com.
A big KTRS shout out to Lisi Lumber. Family owned and family operated since 1872. Lisi Lumber has built the St. Louis metropolitan area. They've worked with builders and contractors and homeowners. They provide building materials from soup to nuts. 2 hardware stores in Belleville ready to serve you. Millwork, insulating material, wallboard, roofing materials, you name it, Lisi Lumber can help, because Lisi Lumber is just that much better. LisiLumber.com.
The Backstoppers Week is September 11th through the 18th. This virtual week of giving recognizes Backstoppers' 66th anniversary and is in support of the Education Fund. The Backstoppers Education Fund covers tuition at all levels, technology, textbooks, housing on and off campus, and related costs, uniforms, school supplies, tutoring, extracurricular activities, sports, clubs, and more. Give back to families of fallen or catastrophically injured heroes as they head back to school at backstoppers.org/Giving Week.
Before you put your home on the market, before you have to pay money fixing it up to sell it, before you have to pay real estate commissions, call me. I'm Mike Robinson with Robank Properties, and I will buy your home. Any property, any condition, anywhere, and always as is. Call me, Mike Robinson with Robank Properties at 314-283-0867. That's 314-283-0867. You have nothing to lose when you call Robank Properties at 314-283-0867.
Many hometown HVAC companies are looking for your business, but some have lost focus. They now do plumbing, electrical, and other specialties. Missouri Furnace and Air Conditioning is locally owned as well, and we know what we do best: repair and replace furnaces and air conditioners. We've served the St. Louis area since 1962. Let us check out your system before bad weather gets here. We service all brands with 24/7 emergency service. Your Rude Pro partner, Missouri Furnace and Air. MissouriFurnace.com. 314-877-COOL.
When it comes to mortgage lenders, I know you have no shortage of options. But are you working with someone local who can truly simplify the process? I'm David Goldberg with the Goldberg Group, and as a St. Louis home purchase expert, I know this market inside and out. I specialize in tough-to-complete situations for borrowers who are self-employed, looking to buy and sell at the same time, and may have been turned down somewhere else. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or a seasoned homeowner, you can trust me with all of your home financing needs. Call or text me at 314-471-4030. 314-471-4030.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's fit in a couple of entertainment stories. A Joni Mitchell biopic is in the works. Rumor has it it'll star Anya Taylor-Joy and Meryl Streep as Joni at different points in her life.
Interesting.
Could be good. Before Riley Green made it as a country singer, he was a contestant on the CMT reality show Redneck Island. It was back in 2016. He and his partner actually won and split $100,000.
I don't know that show, but I love the name.
I do too. And the Boys and Girls Clubs of America has received an increase in donations since Nate Bargatze's stunt at the Emmys. An executive says it was just really special for the organization's mission to be on a national stage.
Awesome.
It was 53 years ago in 1972 on this day that MASH premiered on CBS. It ran for 11 seasons. And then 42 years ago in 1983, Vanessa Williams became the first African-American crowned Miss America. Of course, her crown was taken away. Debbie Turner became Miss America. So kind of, if you look at it, she is technically the first black Miss America. And of course, I got to work with her on Show Me St. Louis for many years. Yeah. She would bring in her crown every once in a while. It came in this like wooden box and you open it. It was pretty darn cool.
Wait, you don't have to give the crown back at the end of the year?
Oh, no, you keep the crown as far as that goes. It's not like the Stanley Cup that gets passed around and has dents in it. All right, some birthdays.
I'm going to give you two.
All right.
This one, I think Heidi has the edge.
Okay.
The original American Idol rocker, Konstantin Maroulis.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, Konstantin.
Man.
He was in Rock of Ages on Broadway, but only got a cameo in the movie.
But he's 48.
I'm going to say 45.
He's 50.
Oh!
This one, so you got a chance for a comeback.
I need a comeback.
But our boy here loves Halloween.
Yes, he
getting
does.
ready to decorate. Mm-hmm. How old is the Mistress of the Dark?
Elvira.
Ooh.
74.
Elvira. 76.
What did you say, Heidi?
74.
Bang, got it.
Yes!
That's a winner.
That is our evening entertainment report here on the Big 550. By the way, if you're into it, the 4th season premiere of The Morning Show streams tonight.
I am into it.
There you go.
Hi, it's Jill Farmer. This note came in on our text line recently on the Frank and Jill show. You need to know that Ryan Raphael helped me with my senior insurance plan. He was such a gentleman, so helpful, knowledgeable, and kind. I can't thank him enough, and I heard about him on KTRS. I love that text because Ryan Raphael is the Medicare man. He's absolutely the best person to call to help you through the often confusing process of finding the right Medicare plan for you. He loves helping people, walking them through the overwhelm of, I don't know how to choose the best plan for me, or I did choose a plan based on the recommendation of a well-meaning friend or family member, and now I don't think it's actually the right one for me. Ryan Raphael is the best at matching you with a plan that lets you keep your own physicians and keep your prescriptions. It's like having the highest quality consultant on your team. The best news, it's free to you. Under the law, his fees are paid by the insurance companies. Go to MedicareManSTL.com or call 314-368-6808. That's Ryan Raphael's cell phone number just for you.
Worldwide Technology Raceway is the only track in America to host a NASCAR event, an IndyCar event, and an NHRA event. Don't miss the upcoming NHRA Midwest Nationals, September 26th through the 28th, and the NHRA Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series, October 1st through the 4th. The track, under the leadership of owner Curtis Francois, continues to upgrade the race experience for fans who come from around the country. For tickets, go to WWTRaceway.com.
I'm Mark Cantor. Here's why you can count on Cantor Injury Law.
My name is Michelle. I'm a litigation paralegal at Cantor Injury Law, and you can count on Cantor because we are smart, honest, and hardworking.
I'm Kevin Glenn, and a partner here at Cantor Injury Law. You can count on Cantor because we make your cause our cause.
No fee if no recovery. Please visit CantorInjuryLaw.com or call us at 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mizzou football on the Big 550. KTRS is powered by Royal Banks of Missouri. This Saturday, Mizzou kicks off its SEC schedule with the Gamecocks of South Carolina coming to Columbia for a 6 p.m. kickoff.
Pre-game at 4 p.m.
Catch all the action right here on the Big 550. KTRS.
Galmish & Sons have been providing quality heating and cooling services since 1950. They work exclusively with Lennox, the preferred choice of St. Louis homeowners. Call Galmish & Sons for your next Lennox HVAC installation and service. 314-993-1110.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey on the Big 550. KTRS.
Meep, meep. All right, it's about 7 minutes before 6 o'clock. Let's get one final check of traffic on this Wednesday from Captain Paul.
All right. Mizzou football has 12 games on the schedule. There are 12 different varieties of Dogtown pizza.
We tried a new one.
What'd you have?
The meatball.
The meatball mozzarella.
Yes.
And?
Love it.
Oh.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
I got to put it on the list.
Yep.
All right. Well, maybe this Saturday, as Mizzou takes on the South Carolina Gamecocks, you can either do the hot wing pizza, because South Carolina's mascot is a chicken.
Right. A
Right.
rooster, I believe.
Well, they're all chickens, right?
Well played, sir.
Or you could do the meatball mozzarella or any of the other 10, because there's 12 varieties in all. Have one every game. Have a different one every game. And Dogtown Pizza, they have been around for 15 years and are still going strong. And Heidi's still finding new pizzas, apparently, to eat on her road trips. So you can find Dogtown at every local grocery store in town, Dogtown Pizza, and DogtownPizza.com, and every game day for Mizzou football.
Are you retired? Are you thinking about retiring? Who is helping you with retirement? Might be time to check out the show When Retirement Happens, hosted by Kevin Lloyd of Legacy Wealth Advisors. Saturday at 1, Sunday at noon. on the Big 550 KTRS. Dents Express, like the Missouri Tigers, knows a lot about collisions and hard knocks. And Dents Express can fix your minor dents, hail damage, as well as help you with your insurance claim. Dents Express is 30 years in the business and a proud sponsor of the Tigers on the Big 550 KTRS, and wish them a very successful season. Dents Express. Call them or stop by, but first make an appointment. They are your dent repair center. Online at dentsexpressstl.com. Go Mizzou.
Everybody loves good barbecue, and everybody wants to know where the next great barbecue place is. And if you're looking for an overnight sensation, it's only taken them 10 years. Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery, Woods Mill and Clayton Road. There is a gas station, West County Phillips 66 gas station. In that gas station, in the back, for 10 years, some of the best barbecue in town. Bring a friend and spread the word. Three Bay Barbecue and Bakery. Don't forget about the bakery. 3baybarbecueandbakery.com.
Gingham's Homestyle Restaurant has been a staple in St. Charles for 35 years. Our comfortable, casual atmosphere offers some of the best comfort food you've ever had. Customers might know our delicious breakfast, but you can have whatever you want, anytime you want, with our full menu 24 hours a day. Nothing warms your heart like Gingham's famous vegetable soup, and we can cater your event, too. If you like home-style food and great friendly service, you'll love Gingham's Restaurant in St. Charles. 636-946-0266 or ginghamsrestaurant.com.
Stop feeling embarrassed about thinning hair and start looking and feeling your best with Hair Growth by New Nordic. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or at your local CVS.
You're listening to the Heidi Glaus Show
with Josh Gilbert and Bob Ramsey
on the Big 550 KTRS.
All right, let's wrap this show up with a random.
One of the reasons the World Wildlife Fund, the WWF, went with the panda bear for its logo
I've always wondered.
is because it's black and white and it would save money on printing costs.
Brilliant.
Get out.
Right?
I mean, they could have gone with the zebra.
Well, okay.
You guys, that does it for us this afternoon. We'll be back starting at 3 o'clock. I hope you will meet us back here at that point. And until then, see if you can put a smile on somebody's face.
Whatever gets you through the night.
Truck drivers, have you been searching for a more reliable driving job? Get the paychecks and predictability you need as a Schneider driver. Schneider's large selection of driving jobs means you can get the home time that suits your schedule. Choose from daily, weekly, monthly, or sometime in between. Plus, Schneider drivers have access to great benefits with a 401k match and a 24/7 support team. Get the keys to a better driving job. Search openings near you and apply now at SchneiderJobs.com.
I'm Farmer Dave, and here's my good friend and owner of MasterCars Inc., Alex Rosenberger, with today's hot MasterCars Inc. deals.
Hey, thanks, Farmer Dave. This is our favorite motoring season. Great top-down weather or getting the bike out. The temps are perfect. Of course, we can fix you up with one if you're in need. Attractive financing options available with no payments until 2026. Keep that in mind. Now, if you have one and don't need it, we can help there too. We're always looking for super clean, low-mile, pristine Corvettes, muscle cars, classic cars, luxury cars, you name it. Motorcycles, too, especially Ducatis and Harleys. We'll even buy entire collections. Hop on our site, submit what you've got, and we'll get you an offer. Easy as that.
So rev that motor and point your car in the direction of MasterCars Inc. and buy or sell today. 4100 Namioki Road in Granite City, or visit MasterCarsInc.com to get more details. That's MasterCarsInc.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation and a regular heartbeat not caused by